Hey, everybody. The long wait is over. The Wise Guys are back. Welcome. Good evening. We are so excited to be here. Wise Guys is the largest BYU sports live stream show in the world, the most watched collegiate sports live stream talk show on YouTube, and that's pretty big last we checked. Hello, February. Welcome to Super Bowl week with the Seahawks and Patriots meeting Sunday in Santa Clara, California, and we're fired up. We love Super Bowl week. It's a national holiday.
It is a national holiday. It's an international holiday. The Super Bowl is one of the most watched television shows of any in the world every single year, and the eyes of the world are on it, and it feels like a holiday week when it's Super Bowl week too.
And I got a feeling our show tonight's going to be huge on the stream. We got awesome guests. We got great content. We have lots to talk about. Feels like it's a big night for the first Monday of February. It's March Madness is next month. I mean, we're right here.
Can you believe it?
It's crazy.
I can't believe we're also right in the middle of Big 12 action in basketball. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes we are here for everybody to help talk them off the ledge, you know. So, and we get it. That's the nature of this league, though. Even teams that are in the middle of the league, if you don't play well, they can come up and beat you, right? That's how good this league is. But the elite teams, when you're playing Kansas at Kansas, you can't have that slow of a start and have any chance to win. And I'm even surprised they had a chance to win. But we'll talk a little bit. Sometimes this is therapy for all of us. Mm-hmm. Like even for you and I, we just come. Sure. It's therapy for us. We talk with you guys. We talk it out, and then we're good and we're ready to go for Oklahoma State.
You know what? Our wives are happy that we have each other to talk this stuff out, because we're talking out of the house.
They get tired of us.
When is that show coming up?
So hey, let's remind you that Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, Mountain America Credit Union. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. Watch for this week's new podcast tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts.
Here's what we got coming on the show tonight. We'll talk BYU football. Kalani Sitake announces the rest of the defensive staff. We'll go over those names and what we might think we'll see. We know spring football is just around the corner. So we'll start with BYU football, as we always do.
Yeah, and then BYU Super Bowl trivia.
Oh, yeah.
You've come up with, I got to give you credit, like those are some pretty good trivia questions.
So what we'll do is we'll ask them because we have the answers, and we'll ask you on the stream, and we'll give you a minute or so in between to see if you know the answers. But some of them you have to really think about.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to think about it. Like there was even a couple, like I'm thinking, I know this, and I had to think, and then I came up with the answer. So
and then the answer was right next to.
No, and I know, but I tried to do it myself first, Dave. So as mentioned, we'll talk about the aftermath of Kansas and what kind of some thoughts on that, and look forward to Oklahoma State. Yeah. We even look a little forward to Houston, because I don't think there's any reason they can't beat Houston at home, right?
Well, they
need to have a better first half.
They need to.
They need a better first half. Well, and here's the other thing.
Hey, they're only 8th.
Is Houston going to come in and shoot 65% from the field and 75 from 3 in the first half? I hope not.
If they do, we're in trouble.
If West Virginia does that, we're in trouble, right? So we'll talk about that, though.
February is here, as mentioned, and so is BYU baseball. Head coach Trent Pratt's going to join us here in studio in just a little bit. They've had the best January weather for outdoor baseball practice in the history of BYU, as far as we know. So we're going to talk about it. They start their season here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's big stuff. And every time I look at that, and they've done some remodeling with that facility over there. And it is one of the great baseball facilities. It's certainly the most scenic anywhere. Can you think of a more scenic ballpark than that one?
That's awesome.
Where you're sitting kind of looking over campus and up at those gorgeous mountains. And what a backdrop. It's a beautiful place. So, hey, BYU grad Caleb Chapman, the music man and new author, is going to be here. It's been a couple years since we've had Caleb on.
Yeah, he's so busy. He wrote a book, and we're like, you write a book, you're in.
Caleb Chapman is the real School of Rock.
Yeah, he played the sax last time. He's not bringing his sax this time. He's bringing his new book. Yeah, but he's going to be awesome. We love talking to him.
Yeah.
Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. You know what? This one you're going to have to think about, and then once we announce it, you'll go, oh yeah. Yeah, that was phenomenal.
I'm so happy about this one.
So that's coming up too. Wise Guys is presented by our friends at Brady Plus. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, and packaging equipment, dispensers, service and repairs. They do it all with over 150 distribution facilities across the country and over 6,000 employees. If you're in a hotel, if you're at Disney World, if you're at the Pentagon, you'll see Brady Plus products all over the place. Learn more at bradyplus.com.
Before I get to the next one on the stream, Dave, great call on the Utah game. Beat Utah. You were there. I was there.
That was fun. That was great fourth quarter.
That was really fun. We're talking about BYU women's basketball. And talking to some of our women after the game, they said, there's not one single person on this roster that's beaten Utah before. So that was huge for those girls.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you got to call it with Kristen. So now back to our sponsors. Mountain America Credit Union, helping people achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, or managing daily expenses, Mountain America has the tools, the technology, and the guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you at macu.com, MACU.com.
By Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. Whether you run a dental office in Spanish Fork, Utah, or a construction crew in Lehi, Eddie helps you hire, onboard, track time, and run payroll all in one place. Simple, local, reliable, built by business owners who believe people come first. See how Eddie can serve your team at Eddie.com.
And our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News and Deseret.com, Utah's newspaper since 1850. Dallas, Oklahoma, Arizona, all parts of Utah on the stream already tonight. Let us know where you're taking us in from. We'll try to give you a shout out as we've got a loaded show. And let's start with BYU football. Kalani Sitake announcing late this afternoon some defensive, in some cases, readjustments, and then a couple of new hires. Justin Enna is going to move to special teams coordinator. We talked about that for a couple of weeks now. And outside linebackers, edge rushers coach is another guy that's kind of getting an opportunity. Yeah, and this is a guy that has been at major Power 4 programs. I love his first name, Chad, and then his second name, his last name is Kahahaha. No, it's Kahahaha. Kahahaha. And I've known Chad for a long time. He was coaching up north, I think at Utah State, when his son Walter was growing up. And Walter used to hang out with my kids because they lived not too far away. But he's been to some major programs in the Pac-12, Wisconsin, Oregon State, a wealth of experience. But he's been at BYU the last couple of years, quietly doing a great job working with the interior line and the defense as a senior defensive analyst. And so they're going to move him and replace Kelly Papinga, who coached the outside. Kelly coached the edge rushers. Mm-hmm. And so now Chad is going to have responsibility for the edge rushers and the outside linebackers in this defense. He's got a ton of experience, and he's going to be a great hire there. Kelly Papinga, as you know, is the defensive coordinator, and he's going to do the inside linebackers. Lewis Walker, hired as the corners coach, played at Hawaii and Utah, and has been around at different places, a veteran of the corner, and so he comes in for that. Demario Warren going to move back to the safeties and the defensive pass game coordinator. So that's the defensive look. And here's what we know about this group is this is a different group than we saw last year. So we're going to see a different defense than we saw last year. Yeah, there's nobody in the back end of this defense that has ever run the defense that BYU ran the last 3 years in the back end. And Lewis, interestingly, Lewis is a Utah native. Mm-hmm. He went to Judge Memorial High School and played football there, then went to Hawaii and then transferred to Utah. And I believe Kalani made a comment today that he coached him when he was at the U at some point. So he's known him for a long time, but it's been in FCS football. He coached at Monmouth and North Dakota State with very, very good program at North Dakota State. Interestingly, he was at Monmouth. He just signed a contract to coach to go back to North Dakota State as the corners coach. But before he reported, he took a left-hand turn and he's coming to Provo. And so he'll be, but he doesn't have any experience in the type of defense that Jay ran. Demario Warren coached at Southern Utah, was the head coach at Southern Utah. He's been coaching corners at Boise. Mm-hmm. They also have not run that type of defense. So it's going to look different. Yeah, the same names are out there making tackles and plays, but we'll be as curious as anybody to see what the Papinga defense is going to look like. Yeah, and we'll get those guys on the show and we'll ask them what's the plan? Like what's the focus going to be? How are you going to and it's hard. The defense that Morgan runs at Utah, and it's really a Kalani defense too, because that's what Kalani ran at Utah. And Gary Anderson ran it and had it when he was the coordinator there in Wisconsin. Of course, it's Kyle's defense. We've talked about this a lot. Jay will be running this defense at Michigan along with Gennaro. Mm-hmm. And so, and then really Colton Swan's the only other guy that's coached the safeties and done that in this defense. He's now the D coordinator at Utah. So all those guys that have run the back end of this defense, and then Gavin now is the defense coordinator at Weber State.
Right.
So all the guys with that knowledge are either at Michigan, Utah, or Weber State right now. So this is gonna be a new start, and we'll be really interested to see what they do in that back end. Big challenge, because that's been one of the most productive defenses in the country the last couple of years, and they led the nation in pass interceptions 2 years ago.
It's been great.
And they were really, really 17 of them again last year. Over the last 2 years, they forced more interceptions than any defense in college football. So we'll see. But
as for the offense, they're all intact.
They're all intact.
Matt Mitchell went over to Colorado State, so we're still waiting to see if they're going to hire a quarterback coach or an assistant quarterback coach to help with Aaron Roderick and the QBs. That's really the only question mark still out there.
Yeah, and we've heard some rumors. We're not going to throw these out there because they're not confirmed rumors about who might be coming in to help with those quarterbacks. I like the rumors that we're hearing on who's going to be the quarterback coach. I expect this offense to take a big step forward this next year. And you know why? Because the quarterback's a sophomore.
Yeah.
There's just such a big difference between being in there your first time. And I feel like A-Rod did this masterful job of tailoring that offense and just being just conservative enough to win a bunch of games last year. For heaven's sakes, BYU went to the Big 12 championship game with a freshman quarterback. What a remarkable job A-Rod did, right?
Yeah.
And now he's got a guy that's been in the system. Remember, Bear didn't even have spring ball last year. He came after spring ball. So now you got him. You had him for a whole season, stayed healthy enough to play every game, basically. They've got him now for a whole spring ball, all summer. They have Enoch Watson back from his mission. That's going to give him some depth there.
Bourguet's back.
Who I love Bourguet. I think he'll
be the elder statesman.
That's right. And he knows this offense. And they keep the offensive staff intact. And they've done a great job. They've added a couple of receivers to add to Parker and to the gang. And LJ's back.
Yeah.
So I expect this offense to take a giant step forward. And they're going to need that, I think, to get where they want to go. Because Texas Tech's not standing still.
No.
No,
they are not. By the way, we're going to show something in a minute that will have you scratching your head about this whole Texas Tech BYU thing.
Yes.
Which caught my eye and it's very intriguing to us. Tanner Wall, by the way, named the academic All-American that we knew he would be. The first Cougar to win the honor in back-to-back seasons since Chuck Cutler did it back in 87 and 88. So it's been a while, but we salute Tanner. Love Tanner for a variety of reasons. Selfishly, he always came out and did interviews even when they lost. Now, they didn't lose very much the last 2 years.
Right.
So no one really had to do that very often. But first class, and he's smart enough and good enough at the safety spot. You know, Daniel Sorensen, Zane Anderson, he's in that same mold, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's on an NFL roster next year.
And here's one thing that Tanner Wall did that neither of those guys had a chance to do. They just didn't have the chance. Tanner Wall's been part of 17 Power 4 wins in the last 2 years as a starting free safety.
It's pretty good.
17 Power 4 wins. So the level of competition that he's played against has been so much higher than anybody that's ever played safety at BYU through their college career. And he has been phenomenal. First team all Big 12. And to be able to balance the classroom and his performance on the field the way he did was really remarkable. I think everybody knows I love Tanner, but he, I think, is likely to get an NCAA postgraduate scholarship as well. And we've had fewer academic All-Americans than All-Americans. And we've had even fewer NCAA postgraduate scholarship award winners because that's the elite of the elite. I think Tanner's on his way for that. And congratulations to him. One of my favorite players to ever come through the program.
Yeah, he's awesome. Kay Boyd from Leander, Texas on the stream. Russell's on the stream from North Carolina. We hope you're warming up. I saw some wicked snow video from North Carolina, from the beach last night. It's crazy.
So, Russell, did you guys get over a foot of snow in North Carolina? What in the world?
Man, that place is green already.
Yeah.
This spring when all that snow melts.
Could you send some our way?
Yeah. We're going to get some in a week.
And Texas is on the stream. Like Texas doesn't need any. They don't need any of that ice storm stuff, but we need some snow here.
So over the weekend, BYU offered a scholarship to a kid named Preston Beck in the class of 2028, which still feels like a long time off, but it isn't. And why do we mention that? Well, because Preston is the son of former Cougar legend John Beck, who's been on this show many times. And now John Beck is old enough to have a Preston Beck who's getting D1 offers, and he's got an offer from BYU.
And you can imagine that Preston is going to be unbelievably well coached and well versed in not only mechanics and how to play the game and the footwork and all of that, but Dad's watching film with him, and he's like,
no pressure.
John's one of the great minds in the game as well. And when he retired from the NFL, he went into coaching some of the big time names in the NFL and in college football. And so Preston's going to come well prepared if BYU can get him.
And one thing that made John so effective with Bear is John had to play early in his career.
Right.
And there were times early on where we're like, what? This can't possibly be the future. And then he threw for 11,000 yards and I don't know how many bazillion touchdowns. But he had to start like Bear did. Hey, we got nobody else, you're in. And then there were growing pains. Bear's growing pains were 12-2.
The one thing the Bear didn't do that John did, and I don't think John would mind me saying this, when John was out there really young, freshman year, right? And he was getting smacked around. We didn't have a great offensive line that year. And it felt like every time he got hit, the ball went on the ground. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, if this kid can't figure out how to hold on to the football, he's never going to be able to play here. Like, it's rule number 1, protect the ball, right? And he was really struggling to protect the ball. And by the time he was a junior and senior, his senior year, John Beck took all that pounding that he took his freshman year and what he learned his sophomore year. And his senior year, I feel like he was just surgical with the way he was approaching defenses, and one of the best senior quarterbacks BYU's ever had. So
we'll keep our eye on Preston.
I think Preston's like, this is going to be fun to follow him.
When John's on the show next, we'll have to ask him since it's not BYU Sports Nation, we can ask these questions.
Oh yeah, we can ask.
Over there we can't. Over here we can.
We sure can.
That's the freedom of our lair.
Yeah,
somewhere in Provo. So we'll follow up on that. BYU football, by the way, released their impact report for 2025. It was pretty interesting. 37.7 million people watched BYU on television. That's the most ever. 8.99 million watched the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That's the highest BYU single game viewership in the modern era. 302 million social media impressions, which certainly includes Wise Guys. We're one giant media impression, aren't we? Just look at our show.
Yeah,
there's Y all over.
Thanks to all of you guys.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Average home attendance, 63,789, and 70,000 plus Cougar tails sold at home games.
That's the most impressive stat of all. So
no wonder the gyms are so crowded here in January. Everyone ate Cougar tails all fall.
The one that pops out to me, Pops, that's why I say Pops.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts.
It's the Pop-Tarts Bowl, 8.99 million. Do you remember after last year's Alamo Bowl, and we just thought with Dion and the Heisman Trophy winner and Shador, with Travis Hunter and Shador and BYU in that game, kind of left out of the CFP.
Yeah.
We thought, man, will BYU ever match that audience that they had for that Alamo Bowl, which was just over 8 million? And they beat that in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Just imagine if Notre Dame hadn't decided to go home and cry. How many fans would have watched that game if it was Notre Dame BYU? Would have been incredible. This was Georgia Tech. No disrespect to Georgia Tech. They're not the brand Notre Dame is.
No.
And still 8.99 million. That shows you how big a brand BYU is.
And it was a fourth quarter nail biter.
It was fun. It was a fun game.
Scuba Chewy from Cedar Park, Texas on the stream. Welcome. Good to have you with us. How about this? The Athletic and the New York Times have picked BYU over Texas Tech to win the Big 12 championship this fall and make the college football playoff. They cite the return of head coach Kalani Sitake, who BYU almost lost to Penn State, and quarterback Bear Bachmeier as the big reasons why BYU will win the Big 12. That's the first major outlet that I've seen pick BYU over Texas Tech this fall.
Yeah, because like we know, Texas Tech didn't run out of money all of a sudden.
No, and they didn't run out of getting guys.
They didn't run out of that for sure. And so we know that that's a constant battle. BYU's going to have to out-coach Texas Tech. They're not going to line up and just have better players than they have. They match up fine. BYU's got very, very talented players.
Hey, don't turn it over 7 times. You got a shot.
Well, and here's the thing. BYU is loaded. I think they did one of the best jobs in the country of keeping who they had. So they're loaded on both sides of the ball. There's no reason why they shouldn't be better on both sides of the ball, especially on offense, because I think when your quarterback goes from being a freshman to sophomore, you take a big jump. I think you take a big jump. Defense should be similar. We just mentioned maybe a different philosophy in the back end. We'll have to see how that goes. That's the only thing that might get in the way is the departure of a bunch of the staff. But offensively, when you have the staff intact and everybody back, especially LJ and Bear, should be really good, and tremendous talent coming back on defense.
College Football Alerts on X posted the top 25 college football programs of all time. Alabama was first, Oklahoma's second, Ohio State's third, Michigan's 4, Georgia's 5. Now, we're going over this list because BYU's somewhere.
BYU's going to be on it, right?
USC and Nebraska are tied for 6. Penn State and Texas are tied for 8. Florida State's 10, Notre Dame's 11, Tennessee's 12. The top 25 college football programs of all time, and BYU's 13th, tied with Clemson.
I'll take tied with Clemson for that. With the names,
those are the names of the names.
That is the who's who in college football.
Yeah.
Where was Utah on that list?
They weren't on that list.
That's why I asked it like that.
So that's cool. First college football games on the 26th schedule. I love when those start creeping out because it makes it feel like it's not that far off. August 29th, North Carolina's against TCU in Dublin, Ireland. Hawaii's at Stanford, North Carolina State's at Virginia, New Mexico State's at Florida State, and then USC is going to play somebody they haven't figured out yet that weekend. BYU doesn't start till the following weekend. But there's a week in November that's like a mega week in the middle of the season, and it makes us wonder where they're going to put the BYU-Utah game.
Yeah, so this Saturday, November 7th is the weekend you're talking about. BYU at Utah?
Yeah.
Alabama at LSU. Georgia at Ole Miss, Miami at Notre Dame, Oregon at Ohio State, and Oklahoma at Florida.
So where do you put BYU on that day?
Gosh, I don't know. To me, Alabama, LSU, that's a big game. Georgia and Ole Miss, just because of what Ole Miss did this year. Miami and Notre Dame, a rematch of this last year. Gosh, I don't even know. Where do you schedule that game?
I feel like that feels like 8:10, 8:30 at
the
night.
Late night game, BYU Utah?
Late window. That's where that looks like to me.
You know what? Oklahoma or Florida is of less interest just because Florida hasn't been good lately.
Yeah, but they'll both be overrated. Remember that. that we do know.
No, by then they might not be. Florida might have already lost a couple like they have.
So that
lately.
could be earlier in the day. You figure prime time's going to be, NBC will put Miami, Notre Dame.
Right. Bama LSU is going to be the big SEC.
Oregon, Ohio State, maybe it's the CBS get. Maybe those are the 3 primetime games head to head.
Yeah, I think
and then
right.
BYU after those
BYU
are done.
be. Can we please have it be 7 instead of?
It feels like a late one.
I don't want an 8 o'clock kick.
Before we do our Super Bowl trivia, and baseball coach Trent Pratt's with us. He'll join us in just a few minutes. We've been talking about a new partnership with Cougar Tribe. It's an online home for BYU sports fans who love the game, value the community connections, and believe that BYU sports are better when they're shared, celebrated, laughing, people angry, mad, all the emotions. And we want to thank you for sending in questions for us, which we will answer, and then they'll be posted on Cougar Tribe tomorrow. But there were 5 questions we chose. This is important because everyone got Cougar coins of the people that were selected to have their questions answered. And we'll do this each week. And we'll answer them exclusively on Cougar Tribe. This week's winners are Dallin Parker, Linda Owens, Mike Madsen, Timothy Bean, and Josh Stewart. All 5 getting 1,000 Cougar coins to have their questions selected. And they're like, what the heck's a Cougar coin? And what does that got to do with me? You can buy stuff with them, and you can go to CougarTribe.com and sign up for free. We want everybody on Wise Guys to go to CougarTribe.com and sign up for free. Wise Guys is free. Cougar Tribe is free, and a chance to get coins and win stuff and all that stuff. More is always more.
Yeah,
that's how we felt about it.
We're going to answer these questions for folks over there. We're also going to have some discussion questions that we'll throw out for everybody to discuss during the week. Dave and I will check in during the week there. But we just wanted to have a place where you all could go other than just Monday night or when you download the podcast and get on the bike and go ride and listen to us, where you could interact with BYU fans from all over the world. So that's what Cougar Tribe
doesn't replace podcast, the Wise Guys. It enhances.
That's right. It's just an addition to and a lot of fun.
And it's our favorite price.
That's right.
You can't be mad because it's all free. So
if it's free, it's for me.
CougarTribe.com. The link is there in the show notes and in there with the on this live stream. Sign up for free and join us, and we'll have some fun.
Hey, and if you're just listening to it on the podcast, it's easy. It's just CougarTribe.com.
Yeah,
easy.
Awesome. Super Bowl Sunday, 4:30 on NBC. Seahawks and Patriots. Kyrie's Tonga will be at the nose for the Patriots, and sometimes he'll be in the backfield because he'll use him as a fullback.
He is a road
fullback. He's huge. He's 6'2", 335. Played with the Cougars 2017 to 2020. 130 tackles, 15 for loss, 7.5 sacks. He's had a nice playoff run.
Yeah, he's had three tackles last week against Denver in the AFC Championship game, including a big tackle for loss at a critical time. He also had a sack against Houston in the divisional playoff. He'll line up at nose tackle on Sunday. He'll road grade for the running backs at times, and so we can all be rooting for Kairos. Whether he's on the team you want to win or not is up to you. But when Kairos, let's just hope Kairos has a nice.
I hope he has a great game.
When I used to call BYU,
I could care less about the Seahawks.
When I used to call BYU Utah games, and Kellen was starting at free safety, our oldest boy, and I'd be calling the game, and Kyle Whittingham would say to me, "You just need to admit to me you're rooting for BYU in this game." And I would say, "Kyle, I'm not rooting for anybody. Like, I'm calling the game. I'm going to call it down the line." He goes, "But you're not going to root for Kellen?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to root for Kellen to play well." I said, "How about you? You've known Kellen since he's a tiny baby. You're going to root against Kellen?" And he goes, "No, I can root for Kellen." I'm like, "Okay, so you can want your team to win, but you can root for." He goes, "You know what? I think you're right. I'm going to root for us to beat BYU, but I will root for Kellen." So you don't have to root for the Patriots, but you can certainly root for Kairos.
Sure, absolutely. Here comes some Super Bowl trivia, and our last question, we're also going to ask Trent Pratt, who's going to join us here in a couple of minutes. He's in the green room just resting up. Good to see you, Coach. Okay, here we go. So we're going to ask a question, and we'll let it linger for a minute, but not that long, and then we'll answer it. So on the stream, let's see how fast everybody is.
You can throw your answer out there on the stream.
And if you're driving and listening, then just keep driving. Question number 1: Who was the first BYU Cougar to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl? There's been a bunch of Super Bowls. There was a Cougar who scored the first touchdown as a former BYU guy. Who was it? You don't even have to. We'll tell you it's Super Bowl 12. We'll give you a
so it wasn't Steve Young.
Yeah,
he's too late. That's too late.
All right. So who was the first BYU Cougar to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl? All right. Let's go.
You can answer it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, the answer is Golden Richards. Wide receiver for the Cowboys and fantastic punt returner.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one for the streamers. So Mark Wilson, good suggestion. Not Jim McMahon. Here comes somebody. No, it was Golden Richards for the Cowboys receiver.
Yeah, those are good guesses. Mark and Jim are good guesses.
Okay, here's another question. Who is the only Cougar to be named Super Bowl MVP? Most valuable player of all these Super Bowls. Who's the only BYU player to win MVP honors in the Super Bowl? Here comes one right out of the gate. Steve Young. That's correct.
You got it.
Nice job. That was in Super Bowl 24 with the 49ers.
Coach Pratt was right over there, and he immediately mouthed the words to me.
Yeah,
Steve, he knows
his
that.
stuff.
He's like, he knows that.
Okay, you got the next one.
Okay. Which Cougar linebacker has more Super Bowl wins? So this is going to be multiple choice. More Super Bowl wins. Which Cougar linebacker? Kyle Van Noy, Fred Warner, or Kurt Govea?
Yeah, now you have to think about this one. Multiple choice. Which Cougar linebacker has the most Super Bowl wins? Van Noy, Warner, Govea. Not who's the best, not who gets paid the most, not who's played the longest. Hey, everybody, we've moved on from the Steve.
By the way, everybody got the Steve Young. I'm happy everybody got the Steve Young. That a lot of folks got the Steve Young right.
Here comes some. Here's
so
Van Noy. There's
Kyle.
Govea.
We have Kurt Govea, Kyle Van Noy. Sean still says Steve Young. He's right. Govea. So remember, Govea was the starting middle backer for the Washington Redskins during their great run when they were really, really good. Right. And then Van Noy, and obviously Fred's with the Niners, and Van Noy's been with the Ravens recently.
We're seeing two really good, correct answers on that.
That's right.
Because Kyle Van Noy and Kurt Govea each have 2. They are the most of the linebackers.
Right.
Super Bowl wins.
Good clarification of the linebackers. So thanks for playing, everybody. So here we go.
All right, here's a new one. Okay, everyone, cleanse the palate. We're ready for your answers.
Ready for a new one. Here we go. Which Cougar tight end has a touchdown catch in a Super Bowl?
We're going to give you some suggestions.
Is it Chad Lewis? Is it Dennis Pitta? Or is it Todd Christensen? So is it Chad Lewis and the Eagles? Is it Dennis Pitta and the Ravens? Or is it Todd Christensen and the Raiders?
Sylvia from Wisconsin, Taysom Hill, love your loyalty. Nice job, Sylvia. Okay, here we come. Right in.
So Robbie Yuki says it's Pitta. It's Pitta, he says.
Let's see. Let's give a couple more. Here's
well, that's Todd Christensen says Les.
Okay.
It's a good guess. He played in
Todd,
Super Bowls.
Pitta.
Christensen, Todd, a couple of them.
We've had the answer to this question on the show.
Chad Lewis. Now, Chad Lewis did catch a very important go-ahead touchdown in the NFC Championship game to get the Eagles to the Super Bowl. He did that. But people forget that he fractured his foot on that catch.
Yeah. The answer is Dennis Pitta with the Baltimore Ravens. Caught a touchdown against the Steelers.
So there you go. Dennis Pitta. A number of you had that one right.
Okay, here's another one. Here's one to think about. All right, here we go. Ready? Everyone kind of, all right, we're off the keyboards.
Here we go.
Which Cougar has the most Super Bowl wins as a player and coach? And we're going to give you some names. Tom Holmoe, Andy Reid, or Bart Oates. Which Cougar has the most Super Bowl wins? Let's say, let's give you a hint. Cougars. Which Cougars have the most Super Bowl wins as a player or coach? Tom Holmoe, Andy Reid, or Bart Oates?
They have these rings. They have how many rings? Who has the most rings?
There's a Todd.
Because you don't get a ring for losing the Super Bowl. By the way,
no, you don't.
So
you still get paid.
So Ben's got Todd, Robbie's got Tom, Linda Murray has Andy, Les has Bart Oates. Okay.
Yeah.
Riker. Remember, Bart won Super Bowls with the Giants and the Niners, and was a Pro Bowler with both teams.
Right.
Pretty cool thing.
He was good.
Riker says Andy.
There's another one for Reed.
Angela Rasmussen's got Andy.
Tom Holmoe, Andy Reid.
So
now,
Sean Orlin says, you guys had time for Dennis Pitta. That long-standing joke with Cougar. When we're on Sports Nation, we go, sorry, we didn't have time for Dennis Pitta.
We clear the show for Dennis.
That's right.
Wise guys. All right, here's the answer. The answer is 4, and Tom Holmoe has 4, and Andy Reid has 4. Andy Reid has 3 as a head coach, and he picked up 1 as an assistant coach. And you know what? You get a ring if you're an assistant coach.
That's right. So he's got 3 and 4, or 3 and 1.
So it's Tom and
Tom has 2 as a player and 2 as 3 as a player and 1 as a coach.
And the year he won as a coach, Dion was out there.
That's right.
As a corners coach.
Bart has. Does he have 2 or 3? Is it 2 with the Giants and 1 with the Niners?
But all 3 as a player.
Right, all as a player,
yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So who has the most as a player? That would be a tie between Tom and Bart then.
Yeah.
So
okay, here's one. Which Cougar has 2 Super Bowl rings completely under the radar? Yeah.
Who's the least famous Cougar?
Would you go? You'd go, what? There's no way he's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
With 2 Super Bowl rings.
Which
we're just leaving this one open because we can't give you any hints on this one.
Rings. And I think we got him. I think we have Cougar Nation stumped.
Are you guys stumped?
Like
when we say it, you're gonna go, oh yes.
This one isn't completely.
He's a very good player in college. Just hasn't had a lot of fanfare in the pros. He's had a few injuries in the pros, but he does have 2 Super Bowl rings.
All right, they're stumped. Let's lay it on him.
Okay, let's tell him. Matt Bushman of the Chiefs.
Matt Bushman. He's got 2 rings, 2 Super Bowl rings. Practice squad guys. You know what they get? They get Super Bowl rings.
Right. And Linda was saying Reno Mahe. Yeah, Reno, they never won a Super Bowl when he was there.
It looked someone said you're on that list. Nice job.
Larry, thank you very much.
Thanks, Larry.
Never made it to Super Bowl. I've watched a couple.
Okay, here's a bonus question, and we'll bring in Trent Pratt.
Yeah.
Only 5 schools have produced both a Super Bowl MVP and a World Series MVP, and BYU is one of them. Who were the players? Only 5 schools.
See, and I know Trent Pratt knows this
have produced a Super Bowl MVP and a World Series MVP. BYU's one of them. Who were the players? So while you're thinking about that, let's bring the coach over.
Coach, do you know the answer to this one? He hopes so.
There's the first answer in.
What do they got? What do they have?
Jack Morris and Steve Young.
Whoa.
And that is correct.
That is on the money.
Steve Young in 1995 threw a Super Bowl record 6 touchdown passes for the 49ers against the Chargers. Jack Morris, 1991, pitched a 10-inning complete game shutout for the Twins in Game 7 against the Braves. BYU one of 5 schools with a Super Bowl MVP and a World Series MVP. And that's pretty cool.
BYU Cougars 1984 forever. First of all, I really appreciate your handle. Secondly, that was pretty quick to come up with that. You were on the money.
Yeah.
And then Jet got it as well. Jet Thompson got it as well. Smuggy Thornton got it as well. I like that name too. Smuggy Thornton got it as well. So people got it. But 1984 forever was the first one on the board with that.
So here we go. Our first guest tonight, ready to lead BYU baseball into their 3rd season in the highly competitive Big 12. Cougars went 28-27 last year. They fire up 2026 on February 13th, which is in less than 2 weeks. Our pleasure to welcome head coach Trent Pratt back to the Wise Guys. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, here's the question that we were going to tag from the other question that was the easy one, with Jack Morris and Steve Young. As a former catcher, from your perspective, what's harder to do? Throw a 10-inning complete game shutout in Game 7 of the World Series or throw 6 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl?
Man, I'd say the 10 innings.
Is that biased because you're a baseball guy and you're a catcher, or what?
Yeah, has anyone else done it besides Jack?
I don't think
so. They don't even pitch 10 innings.
I'm not sure anybody's thrown 6 touchdowns in a Super Bowl either, though, right?
It would have had to been way before Jack if it happened.
Yeah.
So they're both records. I mean, Steve's
both,
record.
So those are both would be incredible. But I think you're right. I think 10 innings is brutal anyhow, and let alone shutout, right?
I don't think you're going to let anyone throw 10 innings anymore. So.
And you got to at least face 30 batters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think you're right. A quarterback could still do that, perhaps, right? But I don't think they'd let anybody throw 10 innings in a World Series game anymore, would they?
I don't think they would, no.
So that one may stand forever and ever.
Forever.
I mean, Steve's probably has stood for a long time, but yeah, I'm with Trent on this one.
What made Jack Morris so good? You've had a chance to hang out with him a little bit.
Man, he's been around us. He's the ultimate competitor.
Yeah.
Like having Jack talk and listen to people that played against him. I think Adam talked about his dad Vance, him at practice saying like he was just mean, and when he got on the mound, he wasn't going to get you out. That's all that mattered. And even when you face him in the big leagues, and that's what people talk about him. He's just the ultimate competitor, and man, nothing was going to stop him.
Can you actually intimidate from the mound when you're like him? It kind of seemed like he had that mentality. It was intimidating to come up against him.
I think so. I know those guys I faced. I'm like, man, this is uncomfortable. People talk about Nolan Ryan that way a little bit. If you looked at him wrong, he might buzz your tower. So I think you definitely can be intimidating on the mound.
So when you were a catcher, did you ever just once signal to the pitcher, "I'm tired of this guy. We're going to hit him"? And what would that
Possibly.
be? Would that be like you showing up a forefinger this, where the pitcher knows, yeah, I'm coming at his ribs?
We're usually on the same page with that. Yeah, someone deserved it if it happened. So
Just like get him off.
So it's coming, and he knows he's throwing it.
Yeah, and the hitter probably knew too. So
The pitcher that I kind of loved for a while was Goose Gossage, that would come in, a big old gangly, big human being, and just wild enough that you just felt like he could hit me at 106 miles an hour at any time. Is that scary to play against a pitcher that seems like he's just a little bit wild?
it's real scary. Ball's coming hard, and if they don't know where it's going, it's not real comfortable being in the box.
Hey, there was not one snow day in Provo all January, and this week the forecast is sunny in the mid-50s. Today was like the best day ever to get out and play baseball. Have you ever seen a winter like this? And more importantly, how much work did the team get done outside?
We haven't spent a day inside.
Oh, wow.
So this is maybe the first time since I've been here in 15 years that we haven't been inside. So it's great, but also makes me nervous that in Utah it's going to snow in March and April and May.
When you're supposed to be playing games,
when we're supposed to be playing. So I know we need water, but can it just snow in the mountains and not down here and let us play?
Amen to that. We'll all pray for that. We were supposed to fast yesterday for water. I'm like, can we just fast for rain? Do we have to,
Yeah.
I think it was a fast for snow 6,000 feet out.
I know, that's what we're doing. So Trent, who benefits the most from being outdoors? Is it the pitchers? Is it the hitters? Like, is there a group that benefits the most from getting work outside?
Man, I think it's everybody. Just being outside is better than being inside. I mean, we're going to play outside, so I don't know if there's a specific group that benefits the most, but I think just the team as a whole, being outside is a lot more fun than, the IPF's awesome and we're great we have that facility, but I mean, a couple of years we were in there all the time. You kind of get cabin fever. It's like we want to see the sunlight. We want to be outside. So I think just the team as a whole, when the sun's out, it just feels right.
Well, it seems like there's been winters where you've never been outside in January one day. Mm-hmm. So then you go to California or a warm place, and it's at Bowling Green, Kentucky to start up, which isn't the warmest, but warmer. But it's like that's your first time outside, and this is a totally different start, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. We usually go to St. George just to get on grass and dirt one time. We just got back there from last weekend. So the first time we play on grass and dirt isn't in a game, we get down there and it's a little different, from the turf and grass and dirt. So even in those years, we try to go down there just to get outside and get on some grass and dirt. So that always helps.
Last season ended at the Big 12 tournament where we got knocked out by eventual champ Arizona, But before that, you knocked out Arizona State, which was an eye-opener, maybe of possibilities. What can you take from that, and what do these players take from that can give you some momentum coming into this season?
I mean, we returned pretty much everyone, like an experienced group coming back. And so I think them seeing like where they went last year and knowing that, man, like we want more. These kids are hungry, and they've seen that, man, they can play with anybody. It's a matter of just stringing some good weekends together and, and being more consistent. And so, having a veteran group act like that helps, where they've been there. So that was one step. Mm-hmm. Now we need to take another step.
Baseball coach Trent Pratt on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, and Mountain America Credit Union. Year 3 in the Big 12. What areas do you expect to see the most improvement?
On the mound, I think we have some guys coming back. Made some changes on the pitching staff, on the coaching side. So that's been real intriguing and been a real positive through the fall and last weekend, as far as some guys just taking a step forward and having a little more depth and getting healthy.
Depth is key, especially in pitching. We want to talk about some of the key returning players. Let's start with Luke Anderson. Batted .293, 9 home runs, 52 RBIs last year. What do we expect from Luke this season?
More of the same. He's a tough out. He's consistent. He's one of the leaders on our team, and he's played a lot. He's this will be his 4th year in the starting lineup, so you really can't coach or teach experience. And so having a bunch of guys back that have had a ton of innings and been on the field a lot and a lot of at-bats, we're excited for that group. Ideally,
when everybody's healthy, Luke's at second base, right? And sometimes he spends time in the outfield because you've had to move guys around. And it does feel like he's been here for like 10 years, which is good because he's ready to go. But right at second base?
Yeah, second base is where we have him. But we know if something crazy happens, he can play left or right. And he was kind of a Swiss Army knife that way.
Ryder Robinson over at shortstop was outstanding defender last year. Hit .281 with 11 home runs, 46 runs batted in. What has he done to be better?
Man, those guys stayed home this summer and got in the weight room. So Ryder's put on 15 or 20 pounds. He's a lot stronger. So hopefully that translates to just being stronger through the season and offensively, just improving on the numbers he had last year. But man, he's a steady. You saw him, Dave. He's a steady hand on defense.
Oh yeah.
Man, the ball's at him. He's going to catch it and flip it to every base and get us an out. And so, the games kind of went up the middle. And so I know our best teams have always had really good shortstops. And so we kind of see the more of the same out of Ryder.
You don't have Cooper Vest over at first, so there's a new kid there. But with Easton Jones at third and Ryder at short and Anderson at second, this is right up there with your best infield defensively, isn't it?
Yeah, I think last year we set a school record fielding percentage. And so, they're all back. And so that's a good thing. Obviously we lose a lot with Cooper at first base. He's a plus defender, but we have Matt Hansen or Ezra McNaughton stepping in there and playing, and they both had really good summers, in the summer ball. And so we expect them to come in and, kind of pick up where Coop left off and, replace those numbers for us.
Krugman Chesney, one of my favorites just because I love his family, but batted .285, 17 doubles, 40 ribbies. Dave thinks he reminds him of Cubs center fielder. This is a Cubs guy.
He's like Pete Crow Armstrong.
He thinks he's Pete Crow
fast
Armstrong.
And he's a lefty. He can hit. Yeah. That's what it is.
So what is
Krug?
What has he worked on this offseason? What's he going to bring?
Yeah, just bat to ball skills. Sometimes maybe swung and miss a little too much, and just being consistent. That's the biggest thing. The sky's the limit with Krug as far as his athletic ability and strong arm. He has power. He can run, and so just having him be consistent from day to day is the biggest thing. And a lot of times that just comes with maturity and experience. And so he's been out there a lot. So hopefully that helps him this year.
So when he's in deep center, and what's the yards he can cover in a matter of the ball gets hit? Because we saw it all last season, but now that he's back a little bigger and faster, is it 30 yards this way? And can he cover 60 yards in a matter of 3 seconds or whatever?
Yeah, hoping probably not 3 seconds, but maybe 5 or 6. But he's got Bryker.
But not go 0 to 60, but he's 30 this way or 30 that way.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. And then you got Bryker Herdsman and Wright that is a good athlete, can cover the ground. So, man, we like defensively where we're at, with returners and, and more athleticism this year. So, man, just keep those guys healthy. It's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, defensively good team. Pitching is huge, right? Mm-hmm. When you were here last year, you said we got to get deeper with pitching. Does that ever end where you've just got to keep getting deeper because you can't ever have too many great pitchers, right?
No, you can never have enough.
Right.
Nobody's ever said we got too much pitching this year. So
I wish we just had less pitching. Nobody has said that, right?
No major league team has said that either.
No, it's never going to be said. So, yeah, just guys with Tip Story. We got Garrison Sumner and Peyton Gubler back that have both made big strides, with the new coaching staff with Adrian Dinkle and Braden Zastro. I mean, it does an amazing job as far as, just teaching and developing guys, and, some newcomers with Nate Gray coming in. And so we're excited about that group. Waylon Crane, another left-handed pitcher. So, yeah, we feel like there's more depth on the mound and more options to go to. And so I think that's, kind of where our program needs to take the biggest step.
One area that has a lot of experience coming back is in the bullpen. Justice Reiser, maybe some of these guys maybe pitched more than you'd hoped to see them pitch last year, but that's how they're veterans now. But let's start with Reiser. He was 3-0, 24 Ks, and he was big in that Arizona State win. What do you like from him coming back?
Yeah, it's just he's a competitor. And like we said, he's been there a lot.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is nothing's going to phase a guy like, Justice Reiser. We have Ashton Johnson back as well that threw a ton of innings out of the bullpen. And so just knowing what to expect, it can kind of show the young guys a lot and teach them coming along, because we're going to need a bunch of guys to, log some big innings for us.
We're thrilled to have BYU baseball coach Trent Pratt on the Wise Guys with us live around the world on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. You just mentioned a new resource added to your coaching staff, and that's pitching coach Adrian Dinkle. How nice is it to have him on the staff, and what's he going to bring?
Man, it's great. He brings a lot of experience. He was a head coach for a long time at the NAI level and Division II level, and recently came from the Yankees organization. So, even though he was a head coach, he ran the pitching the whole time, and that's his background. He was a pitcher. And just, there's a lot of new things in baseball as far as like analytics and things go. And he has a real good grasp on that, along with Braden Zastro that, was at University of Arizona last year. And so just having, 2 coaches for our pitching staff is a big deal. I mean, half our team are pitchers.
Right.
And so having 2 guys to cover them has helped a lot. And with the new resources, with the new batting cages and all that, and the technology that those guys understand, it's helped our players develop a lot, this offseason.
We'll ask Adrian when we see him, but from your vantage point, who has the best fastball on the team? I mean, your catcher, who's the best fastball?
At times I'd probably say, Garrison Sumner.
Really?
Yeah.
And is that just because pure velocity, or does the ball move? Like how do you
little both. He
judge that, right?
He's taken a big leap as far as velocity goes this fall. Then his fastball has some metrics to it that, it has a lot of ride to it at the top of the zone. So it makes it, the hitter thinks it's going to go somewhere else and it stays up. So,
okay.
Him would probably be right now.
How about best curve?
Curveball. That could be him as well.
Really?
Yeah. Or Waylon Crane, left-hander, has a really good one right now as well.
I thought Reiser would be in there on that, but is his a slider?
More
or
of a slider,
what's his
yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Who throws the most, like, I don't know what the right word for this is. Who throws the most junk, where you just get up there and go, oh my goodness, like, who knows what this guy's throwing next pitch?
I mean, they're all doing that right now.
Oh, are they?
That's the thing. So, yeah, hopefully the hitter doesn't know what's coming.
Exactly.
So it makes everyone's fastball, makes everything better.
Well, you got a veteran behind the plate as a guy who played catcher with Parker Goff. He's kind of the commander-in-chief of that infield. What's made him better this offseason?
Man, just confidence. Like, he's played a lot. I mean, he's started for pretty much 4 years as well. Yeah. And so, like, it's a calming presence back there. Guys trust him. They like throwing to him. And he's done a good job helping Ridge Erickson, come along as a sophomore and is super talented. So, man, we love what we have behind the plate.
A couple of questions on the stream about what are your expectations when you say the next step? What does that mean? Does it mean regionals, having made the Big 12 tournament this last year? Is it getting to the Big 12 tournament championship? How are you marking where you want to go?
Yeah, this team, man, we expect to be in a regional. Yeah. With all the guys back, that's their goal. We talked about it at the end of the season with the returners. We talked about this summer, and they talked about it again this fall and leading into the season and that's what they feel. That's where we feel that we should be. There's no reason. I think you look at our season last year, and it's 5 conference wins, maybe from getting a regional. And I don't know how many games we lost by 1 run, but it was enough. Yeah. And so you look at it that way, and it's not that far off.
One of the folks on the chat says, "Hey, I heard that softball and baseball have a new batting pitching building. What is that like, and what does that help with?"
Man, it's awesome. One, there's 4 cages, and for the longest time we had 2 cages that we both shared. Now there's 4 cages in there plus the existing 2, and so it has all the bells and whistles that we need as far as like technology, and they have a fingerprint. They can go in there whenever they want. They don't have to wait for people to hit. Maybe in the past they walked in and some other guys were hitting or some of the softball girls were hitting. And so like, man, we can't get in the cages right now. So it's just giving them like unlimited access to get better. And that's what we want. We want those guys at the field, you know, when we're not around to working on their craft and getting better. And that's what's going to take. And so I know I'm down there with my kids in the evenings and, you know, here comes 3 or 4 guys at 8 o'clock at night and want some extra hitting. So just them having access to those things is awesome.
We watched it under construction all last season. It's open and ready to go and just like you'd hoped.
Yeah, ready to roll. We've been in it, you know, pretty much since we got back from Christmas break, and they're still working on the outside a little bit. But as far as the nuts and bolts inside, what we need, yeah, it's been great to have.
And eventually we'll have some weather where you actually need to go in there, right?
I hope not.
I imagine at some point.
Just a rainy day. A rainy day.
I checked the forecast. It's warmer. It was warmer today here than Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now it'll be warmer next week.
Yeah, people on the stream were telling us it's freezing, and they had 12 inches plus of snow in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we're
ahead
today.
We're ahead.
Yeah.
But Western Kentucky's going to have a series with you starting Friday, February 13th, and so it's February 2nd already. Next Friday you're going to be in a game. Can you believe that?
Yes, it feels ready. I know. I don't know if your body, you kind of just feel like, hey, man, it's getting close. We kind of post a countdown. We know there's 11 days till opening day, and I think our guys are sick of looking at each other and playing each other all the time. It's time to, you know, face them with a different uniform on.
The home opener is Cal Baptist on Thursday, March 5th. I'm going to knock on wood right now that it's not a snowy March 5th, because you already jinxed it by saying since it's not snowing now. So, So March 5th, and then the Big 12 opener is Cincinnati on Thursday, March 12th. Do you like the schedule as it lays out for you right now to get going in preseason before you get into league play?
It's competitive. The preseason schedule will get us ready for league play. And so, like I said, our guys are just excited. They're ready to play. I think when you practice so much, it's okay, man, now let's get to the real thing.
So Darren on the stream says, hey, will the cages be open to baseball summer camp youth attendees?
Yes.
That's good, because that's one, summer camps are big bucks and they're super popular. That'll be ideal for, you know, a bunch of, you know, so many more hitters down there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, hey, Darren.
Keep them out of the sun, too, off the hot turf in the summer.
That's right.
That's right. Book your time and book your kids to the summer camp, and, you'll be able to hit down there.
Yeah, Cougars 1984 says, are you able to get higher-ranked recruits since you've been in the Big 12, and has there been strong NIL support to help you get some of that talent?
Yeah, it's helped. I mean, the administration's done a good job of supporting us, and, you know, in our last recruiting classes, you know, we're getting kids on campus that, you know, before they wouldn't have taken a visit to BYU.
Right.
And we all know once we get kids to our campus, it kind of sells itself. And so we've definitely gotten some kids that, you know, in the past that not only wouldn't have taken a visit, wouldn't even have thought about BYU, but being in the Big 12 and with the support of the administration, it's helped a lot.
Hey, a warm spring summer night at Miller Park is tough to beat.
It's magic. It really
Especially
is.
on fireworks night, which, as you know, we're big proponents of. But we talked to all the opposing coaches come in, because Gary and I will be doing the games again this year, and they're just baffled by the scenery. Sometimes we might take it for granted, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Like, Miller Park's a special place, without a doubt.
Yeah. All right. We have 5 questions for Coach Pratt, presented by Strategy Square. Let Chantel help your business grow through social media. Find out how at strategysquare.co. Tonight, Coach Pratt's top 5 home run hitters that he's coached since joining the BYU staff. We go back to 2013, and there have been some really good hitters. So we want the top 5 home run hitters
top 5
that
home
have
run
come
hitters.
through.
Got it.
And we can go 5-1 with one being the best.
Okay.
And this isn't like picking favorite kids and stuff.
No.
These are just guys where you go, you know what? There's a good chance he's going to hit a home run.
Mash the ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think, man, I'm trying to think in order how to put them. Like, one at the top might be Colton Shaver over his 3 years there. I think he hit around 40 home runs.
So you're going to make him 1?
Yeah. I think in my time, he might have hit the most that I've been here.
He had a Kyle Schwarber kind of body and he just punished the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. So Shaver's number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, the one season Deming had when he hit 19.
Oh, yeah.
The year, I think he set a record for BYU. I think he averaged like 3.6 something bases per game, which is a record at BYU. Hit 418 that year.
Yeah, it was great.
And so
they couldn't get him out. He was like hitting softballs.
It's a single season.
Single season. So as far as power goes in a single season, I would put him up there.
Okay.
So we'll put him at 2.
Mm-hmm. I believe Bronson Larson hit 16 one year. So he'd have to be up there.
Okay.
I got a cheat sheet too, trying to look into some of these things. I was trying to remember.
We got with Duff Tittle, who does all the information on that. And we said, hey, look, we're asking Coach this, so help him out.
So I think Brock Hale.
Oh yeah.
Would be one. He had 2 seasons where the 3 seasons he might have been the most feared hitter like in the league.
That was early, wasn't it? Was that early in your?
Yeah, like he was on a team that went to the regional, so that Brock would have been like around 2018.
Okay.
And then earlier, 3 years, like 16 through 18 possibly. Number 5 home run hitter. I'm trying to think maybe the last couple of years. And a couple of years, Easton Jones had a big year. Well, Jacob Brugman, my first year.
Yeah, Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brugman did have a good year. And Jones 2 years ago was on fire.
Had like 14, I believe.
Yeah, put one over at the Marriott Center.
Yeah.
Those are always fun.
Those are when you hit it on the Marriott Center steps. That's when you're doing it. Or hit it on top of. Remember when Wally came in here and told us that he hit it on top of May Hall on top of the building?
Yeah,
it's like he did not. He goes,
it's unconfirmed, but we believed him.
Wally claims it. He sat in that chair and claimed it.
Let's put Easton Jones on the list because I would imagine of every kid on that roster that you're hoping has a better season, it would be Easton Jones because 2 years ago you couldn't get him out, and then last year it started in Fresno and the guys pitched him different, and it just was a struggle for him all year long, and now he's back. That glove at third base you have to have.
Yeah, and he battled an injury last year, you know, kind of hurt his wrist and, find out kind of what was going on with that, like a little fracture. So that didn't help him. So, and he's been strong and healthy. So, we're looking for big things from him this year.
Yeah, that was
fun stuff.
That's a big weapon.
Okay, now you have to settle the dispute for us.
Bonus question.
Best home run hitter, Wally Joyner or Corey Snyder?
Man, I don't know.
Because they tell me they're each the best.
Well, then they probably both are.
Only one can be the best.
What do the numbers say? Who hit more home runs?
I don't know.
I don't remember at BYU. I mean, I know that Corey hit one out of the building at Comiskey Park.
Yeah. Corey might have had more raw power. Yeah. When I was a little kid watching those guys play, man, Wally's swing was just fun to watch.
It's the most beautiful,
so easy and smooth. Yeah. So raw power might have been Corey.
Yeah, I
bet you're right.
Just could mash it probably Corey, and then Wally, just one of the most beautiful swings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that.
All right, let's throw a bonus question at Coach Pratt. He's not prepared for.
That's right.
Let's go.
Seahawks or Patriots?
Patriots.
No hesitation.
Really? Is that your team or just?
No, I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for. I mean, they weren't good last year, and then new staff.
No, Tom Brady's not walking out of there.
Yeah, but I mean, Darnold's a cool story too. So
I love that. I love his story.
So it's kind of hard to pick. Yeah, I made my little kids want the Patriots, so I'm kind of rolling with them.
I like both of these quarterbacks, but I do love that Sam just. It's kind of like he started with the Jets. I grew up in New York. It's like the worst franchise any quarterback could ever play for, and he's just kind of made his way around, and now all of a sudden.
Yeah, those are cool to see.
I love
that. Guys that just persevere and keep going, and people write him off, and now he's rolling. So
yeah.
How? Yeah.
I think I love Vrabel as a player too. So I'm like,
I
like watching him coach. So that's why I'm rolling with the Patriots.
How about the Vikings? How about the Vikings as they watch this Super Bowl and they bounced Darnold for the guy that they thought was going to be it, and they were so bad, and he'd been hurt and this and that, and now Darnold's going to the Super Bowl, the Seahawks. I mean, sports is funny that way, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I'm sure they don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't really care what the Vikings
There's all kinds of stories like that, though. Do you think Ohio State feels proud of themselves that they sent Joe Burrow to LSU?
Yeah, probably not. I don't think that's...
We don't think you can play here. Okay, I'm transferring to LSU. Okay. Yeah.
Just think about what Stanford did. They fired their coach, and they had their reasons for all that, but because they fired the coach, Bear Bachmeier comes here.
Right.
And he's 12-2 and off to the races, and Stanford's back scratching their heads going, why can't we find a quarterback? Sports is crazy.
It really is. And beauty sometimes is in the eye of the beholder. You've seen that. You've had players that probably other programs just like, we don't see it, and you go, I just see something in this kid. If you had a kid like that where you kind of brought in and you saw something in them and nobody else really did, that just took off and played great for you?
Yeah, I think some of our best players have been kids like that weren't heavily recruited out of high school, and one like Daniel Siemens, a big leaguer.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Pintar came in not on a scholarship. He's knocking on the door of the big leagues now. So it's kids like that, that just there's something about them, And it's sometimes with those, those guys in the pros that change, it's just trying to just change the scenery. I mean, like you said, bad place for the Jets to be a quarterback, but you get them somewhere else that he gets taught a little love and just a change of scenery, and they flourish.
Hey, before we cut you loose, Duff has texted and said Corey hit 73 home runs. Number one all time. Joyner had 43. Number 9. Maybe we were mistaken throwing Joyner up there next to Corey.
No, Wally threw himself up there. What are we talking about here?
Thanks, Duff.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Duff.
I knew Duff would come through somehow.
Of course he did. He texted us both.
Question on the stream, and I don't think they're from Western Kentucky, but who's your opening week rotation? Do you know who you have going a week from Friday?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're still trying to
hang on there.
Yeah, hang on.
We'll get you posted
Thursday
next
night,
week.
yeah.
Are you calling? Well, that's on the road.
That's on the road.
Are you calling the home opener?
Yeah, March 5th.
Nice.
Yeah, at 3:00, which is a great time.
Okay.
For early season baseball.
I'm going to come even if it's snowing. I'm coming.
It's going to be awesome. Coach, we wish you the best of luck. Look forward to hanging out with your team all spring and into the summer. And you're on the road for 3.5 weeks. Is that how it goes?
Yep.
So you learn a lot. You get to play a whole bunch of different teams, including San Diego State in San Diego. So by the time you roll around to Cal Baptist, you'll know what you got, right?
We should. We hope so. So with this group, hopefully we know what we got. We got so many guys coming back. So, but thanks for you guys and all you guys do for us. And man, I'm happy to be here tonight.
We love it, and we're excited. A veteran team makes all the difference.
It does,
doesn't it? So we're excited to see him this season.
Coach Pratt on the Wise Guys. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Give our best to your family.
Yep.
We'll see you over at the park.
Sounds good.
Baseball is here, and the Cougars are underway a week from Friday. Softball's underway this week. And we didn't even have snow in January, so it feels like we skipped winter.
We skipped winter.
And we've just gone right
here's
to
the sad part.
spring sports.
I haven't been skiing because of that.
Yeah, you haven't. And as a result, your knees don't hurt?
My knees are much better
Your
than they would
ankles
be
are
otherwise.
fine?
Yep, everything's good on me.
BYU Cougars says, regionals or bust, have a great season, go Cougs. We'll keep you posted on all that. They spend all of February on the road, and then they'll come back in March. But great to have the coach here with us, and we'll get some players here too. They're a bunch of fun guys, and I get a chance to hang out with them a little bit more because of all the games we do. A few bus rides here and there, and you just get to know them. And you're like, you know what? We spend time with a softball team. We were talking with women's basketball the other day that the campus is just loaded with fantastic young people.
Yeah, it really is, and we're spoiled because we get exposure to these folks, and the kids that Trent has brought into this program are just high quality players and young men. Like you said, we were at the women's game on Saturday, Dave, and stayed after and visited with some of these great players, and you just get so impressed across the board at the athletes that come to play at BYU and the folks that these coaching staffs across the board are bringing in. Trent's certainly no exception. Great players they're bringing in, but great human beings they're bringing into the program, representatives of the university.
The time feels right. Let's roll out the Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week presented by Redmond, the secrets in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. It is our pleasure as the Wise Guys to announce Brinley Cannon as the Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. Blaine, tell us what she has done.
Yeah, the 6'1" sophomore, she's from Shelley, Idaho. Scored a career-high 21 points to help BYU rally past Utah on Saturday, 77-65 for their first win over the Utes at home since 2017. I was talking to Brinley and I was sitting there with her and Olivia Hamlin, and they were saying, hey, do you know that there's not a single woman on this roster that has beaten Utah?
Well,
and so it was a big win. And do you remember that collision that Brinley had? Mm-hmm. She was coming across the key for a loose ball, and a Utah player was coming from the opposite direction, and it was like a major football hit. And I wasn't sure either of them were going to get up, and she got up and just proceeded to just shoot lights out the whole rest of the game. Yeah. She made a career-high 6 3-point shots in that game. She hit a 3 with 8:45 to go to give BYU a 54-52 lead. They didn't look back. She hit another 3 with 5:15 to play to give them a 59-61 lead.
61-59.
61-59. She made a free throw with 24 seconds remaining to extend the lead to 71-65. So it was BYU's 16th of the season, the most wins in 4 years in a single season. And they still have games to play.
He's got a lot of games.
So they've already eclipsed the most in 4 years. She's a 2-time Idaho Player of the Year, and she was so good, awesome on Saturday. And Brendan and I got a real great chance to get to know Brinley because she and Delaney came on the cruise, on the Cruising with the Cougs 2 summers ago. What an amazing young woman Brinley is. We got to meet her mom at the game this last Saturday. What a treat. And we're excited that Brinley Cannon is the Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. Click on the link in the chat and show notes for a discount code giving you 15% off Redmond products. And that Re-Lyte is a great product. And congratulations to Brinley Cannon.
Fantastic. Nice job, Brinley, and congratulations. Now let's move to our campus notes. They're presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. BYU Pathway makes truly affordable, fully online, spiritually based college degrees accessible to folks worldwide through greatly reduced tuition, weekly peer gatherings, and English support, helping students earn sooner, increase their income, and deepen their faith. Learn more at byupathway.edu. We'll have another Pathway graduate on the show next week. Let's start with men's hoops. Now 17-4, 5-3 in the Big 12. National ranking is 16. The net ranking is 15. And bracketology, depending on who you look at, ESPN has them as a 4 seed, and CBS has them as a 5 seed. And you know they lost 2 games. Their net ranking dropped 2 spots. That's the kind of world we're in. But you got to get some of these, and that's kind of been the buzz.
When you're in the Big 12,
yeah,
and you play 4 ranked teams in 5 games, you can lose a couple. The old WCC days, if it wasn't Gonzaga or St. Mary's at their place and you lost a game, you dropped off the face of the earth. So it's a different story. Big 12 in the AP Top 25 right now. Arizona continues to stick at number 1. Iowa State is 7. Houston is at number 8. They'll be in town Saturday for a big matchup. Kansas, who just beat BYU in Fog Allen Fieldhouse, is number 11. Texas Tech is number 13, and BYU is at number 16. It's the most ranked teams from any conference in the country, and clearly the best basketball conference in America.
Big 12 standings, Arizona is 9-0. They're number 1. Houston's next at 7-1. Iowa State's third at 7-2. Kansas and Texas Tech are at 6-2. UCF up to 6th place at 6-3. Keep your eye on UCF. I'm glad we're not going there this year. They're coming here. Mm-hmm. And BYU currently at 7 at 5-3. That game against Kansas, the Jayhawks beat them 90-82 in the 1,000th game at Allen Fieldhouse. Cougs were down 20 at halftime, cut the lead to 4 in the final minutes. Richie Saunders had 33 points, a career high at 10 rebounds. Today named the Big 12 starting 5, and deservedly so. Rob Wright had 18. A.J. DeBonsa had 17. Darren Peterson had 18 in 20 minutes. The problem is you're down by too many points before you fire up, and that led to their doom against Arizona, and that led them to their troubles at Kansas.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Bill Self said, yeah, we played the best half of basketball we played in a long time in that first half against BYU. Remember, they shot 65% from the field in the first half and like 75% from 3. It was like a ridiculous shooting exhibition. And BYU had to get some stops. You've got to go get on people and get some stops. And they got down, and then Bill Self admitted, he goes, they played better than us in the second half. We just built up such a lead and used so much energy that they just felt like they just had to hold on as BYU came back in this mad second half. But for the game, Kansas shot 57% from the field, and they shot 50% from 3. They were ridiculous in the first half. BYU shot 45% from the field and 34% from 3. That's not bad on the road in an environment like that. But Kansas was lights out in that game.
What are they, 8 of 11?
They were so good. And BYU, you mentioned DePanza had 17. Davis had 2. And he ends up going 1 of 6, 0 for 4 from 3. And Kaba had 9 points and 7 boards, so he did his job. But the bench combined for 3 total points. Yeah. They were 1 of 5 from 3 and 1 of 7 from the field. And against a Kansas team that was playing with so much energy, I still feel like, yeah, the big 3 are great. They just need a 4th scorer. You talked about this last week on the show. Yeah. And they got to get a little more production off the bench. And they're going to have to do that it's Saturday against Houston.
A week ago, number 1 Arizona was here in Provo, and they beat BYU 86-83 to snap a 13-game win streak at home for the Cougars. Again, the Cougars down 19 points in the second half before they fight back, and then they have a shot to win the game. But Rob Wright got blocked as he went to the hoop. But you're down 19, you got a shot. You're down 20 at Kansas, you cut it to 4 with like a couple minutes left. Hey, look, get down 9 instead of 19. Get down 10 instead of 20. You win those games, or at least you're in a position to.
Yeah.
Wright and DeBonsa were 9 for 40 at home against Arizona. That's how you lose to Arizona. And you think, well, you know what? They probably won't go 9 for 40 in Tucson. If they don't, BYU's got a shot to win.
That's right.
They're just right there.
And BYU's got, like we talked about, they have to have more folks contributing, so it's not all on one person. Can't all be on Richie one game or all on AJ. Kansas had 5 guys in double figures. Like big-time contributions from a lot of folks. Arizona, that is such a balanced basketball team, and they're so deep, and we saw that the other night. And so BYU, when they have that rematch, they have to get more people involved. I do like how Kennard shot the ball, but remember, Rob had a rough game that night. And so you need the big three to be the big three, and then you need Kennard to play well and get a little bit of help off the bench.
Hey, it's happened before. Arizona beat them here last year. BYU went to Tucson, beat them.
And remember, this is about the time of year last year where BYU turned that corner and just went on a roll.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can do that again this season.
Up next is a quad one matchup with Oklahoma State and Stillwater Wednesday night at 7 Mountain on FS1 and BYU Radio. Cowboys beat Utah in Salt Lake City back on Saturday. Got to bring your A game or they're going to give you trouble.
That's right.
And then Saturday night is it's the game that fans can go ahead and start thinking about.
Yeah.
Because it's huge.
The team can't start thinking about it, but it's not till 8:30, so they have all Saturday
So
to
there's
think
more
about
time
it.
to...
And that's number 8 Houston at BYU, number 16, 8:30 p.m. ESPN's national game. It's also on BYU Radio. Pre-game's at 7:30 on BYU TV. I'll be co-hosting that. Only meeting of the regular season for BYU and Houston is this game in Provo.
Yeah.
So,
all that matters is this team has their act together in March.
That's right.
And the ebbs and flows of a season, and I've got an article in the Deseret News you can read tonight on that redemption's around every corner in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Texas Tech's playing Kansas tonight. As great as Kansas felt on Saturday, they'll feel just as bad as BYU did probably tonight because I don't think they're going to win in Lubbock. And then they'll have some redemption games. So there's redemption chances everywhere. BYU's got one Wednesday and then Omega one on Saturday.
Yeah. Couple questions that are asked on the stream. Does the AP poll give any indicators where the team will be seated? Actually, the AP poll is kind of part of it, but the net is more accurate in seeding. So go look at, you can see those rankings, the NET. Mm-hmm. So that's the one to look at, BYU Cougars 84. And then Far From Home says, Mbop needs a larger role. He's the most consistent defender. We forget about, it's Boop, right?
Yeah.
I think he goes by Boop. He was playing a bigger role early in the season. And not quite as much lately, but hey, I agree with that. Far From Home, I think Boop could play a more vital role in this one.
AJ is averaging 23.3. That's number 3 in the nation. 6.4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Didn't have a great game against Kansas, didn't have a great game against Arizona. I think he's going to have a great game against Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
he's a phenomenal player, and I think we'll see the kind of bounce back. I don't know if we'll see 43 like he bounced back against Utah. But AJ, he just turned 19. He's actually eligible now for the NBA draft. That's how young this kid is. Anyone dogging AJ, I'm like, come on, man.
Do you know what I love? I love that Kevin Young goes on the post-game press conference, and the first question they ask him is, hey, talk about the matchup between Peterson and DeBonsa. Like, what did you think about that matchup? And he goes, okay, I'll get into that, but before that, Richie Saunders was the best player on the floor tonight.
Yeah.
And he just called him out. Like, the best player out there tonight was Richie, which he was. And so you got to get Richie and Rob and AJ all playing well, and then these other contributions to beat Houston at home on Saturday night.
How about Yegor Demon? Speaking of a kid playing well, 25 points, a career high, 10 rebounds. Friday night, first game back in the state of Utah. The Nets came and beat the Jazz. His best NBA game in his young career, and a lot of Cougar fans were there to greet him and cheer him on. Set an NBA rookie record with a three-pointer in his 34th straight game on Friday night. He made 6 of those threes. Also became the youngest player in NBA history to score 25-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and make 5-plus three-point shots in a game. All the guys in the NBA, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Yegor, the youngest player in NBA history to do that. And the former Cougar is going to represent Brooklyn in the NBA Rising Stars Challenge a week from Friday as part of All-Star Weekend. The Nets are terrible, but Yegor is fantastic.
He is so good.
He is.
People keep asking me, why is he so much better now? Well, a couple of things. Remember when he came on campus, Kevin and the staff said, we need to elevate your jump shot. We need a little bit higher release. So they changed his shot to have him be a little bit higher release because they knew that to play in the NBA, he could use that 6'9". And so it took a little while to adjust, but he's knocking that thing down consistently now. So that's been good for him. And you know what? The rules for defending in the NBA are so much more offensive minded. You're not allowed to come up and smack guys and get your hands all over them. And so he's roaming all over the place and dominating. The NBA game is built for Yegor Demin. And you know who else it's built for? AJ DeBonsa.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you can't put hands on that guy, everybody's beating the crap out of that guy every night. He won't see that in the NBA.
Let's bring in our guest. Let's put a pause on our campus notes, and we'll pick back up on that in just a minute because there's a lot going on campus. But we want to introduce our next guest, who's a BYU grad that we'll aptly describe as Mr. Music, the founder of Caleb Chapman Soundhouse, which is the best youth music program in the United States. We can say that. One, we're biased, and it's pretty true.
It's not pretty true. It's absolutely true.
He's the
right,
author
Caleb?
of, well, I said pretty just to give some wiggle room because he might come on and say something about it. But he's also the author of the new book, The Next Stage, which is available on Amazon. Our pleasure to welcome back to the Wise Guys, the legendary and our good friend Caleb Chapman. Welcome back.
Man, you've raised me to legendary status now.
Well, that's what we do on this show.
For us, you are a legend. Like we know your history, and you're legendary on the show. Like you were one of our very early guests on the show, and the show's grown tremendously since you were on it the
Not
first time.
surprisingly.
Yeah, you helped us get there.
You helped us get there. People still talk about it. People still go back and find you on the list. And for a long time, during football season, we still like to pull up you playing the fight song on sax.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Looking back at 2025, what's the coolest place your music led you to taking your students around the world?
2025, let's see.
And that was this last year. I know you're super busy, but that's this last year.
I know. I think this last year, the most exciting, Puerto Vallarta, we played for 10,000 people there, and they shut down the whole waterfront area, and we had a big old party right there on the ocean. So
nice.
That was pretty cool. So
That's pretty cool. What about this year? What do you have lined up for this year for
this year we've got we're going to be doing we're the guests of kind of the high whoop-de-whoops in Bangkok. It'll be our first trip there.
Really?
But we're going to be doing several performances for the government, and also just out in the public. We're playing the Hard Rock Cafe in Bangkok. Yeah, so that'll be a fun one for us.
The only thing, whenever I hear the word Bangkok, and I haven't been there, I need to get there, is the song "One Night in Bangkok Makes a Hard Man Humble." Yeah. So don't let these kids let's keep them humble.
Yeah, we'll keep them humble.
FS Models on the stream says, Caleb is so amazing. My niece Ellie plays the drums in his group.
Ella.
Ella. His niece Ella.
Oh, she's a superstar.
Really?
Yeah. She just she got offered full tuition scholarship to Berklee College of Music this next year.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Okay, so on the stream and on the podcast, as folks are listening and their kids like music, how can I get my kid into Caleb Chapman's Soundhouse?
Well, the easiest way is to just drop in and visit us. We're out there in Pleasant Grove, right by Tesla, and we're there every day, Monday through Friday. Our office is open 3:30 to 7:30 at night. They can just drop in.
What about your website? What's
website? ccsoundhouse.com.
Okay.
We've got lots of information there. But a lot of times, people see these groups performing. And of course, we also need to talk about it. We're competing with the Houston game on Saturday, but we've got Kenny Loggins performing with us this week.
Wait, where's
You're going to be just fine. That's going to be awesome.
Where's Kenny performing with you this week?
He's performing at the Eccles Theater in Salt Lake. So,
oh my goodness!
And will he be performing Danger Zone?
He will be. He will not be performing Danger Zone.
Really?
We will be performing Danger Zone, but Kenny will be joining us for 3 or 4 songs, and you can probably guess at least one of those that he'll be performing.
He's got
on
so
stage.
many.
So I remember going to when he was back and just split off from Loggins and Messina. We went to a concert up at Sundance in the trees, and they were playing, his band was playing a set, and then he just sent them off, and he just sat down on the front of the stage with his guitar.
By himself.
And he went acoustic for a bit, and I was just like, this dude is crazy talented. He was so good. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, well, and that's why we're honoring him. It's our second year doing the People's Music Hall of Fame. Last year we honored Huey Lewis. Yeah. And this year, Huey's actually coming back to present the award to
good.
Kenny,
Oh, wow.
which will be cool.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
but we have all 150 of our Soundhouse artists here from Utah that will be performing on stage that night, playing all the music of Kenny Loggins. Professor of Rock will
That's
be
gonna be
there.
awesome.
Oh, it's incredible.
All right,
If I
folks,
didn't have to host the pre
I
and post game
know,
show,
I know.
way to pick
I
the
would
night.
be there.
But you know
I would
what?
be there.
That place, the Marriott Center is going to be packed. That place is going to be packed.
It's pretty
Folks
much-
can get tickets.
They can for a
If
few
there's
more
any left.
minutes. Yeah, it's close to being totally sold out, but that's those tickets are at Arctics, or they can visit our website, CC Soundhouse, and it links over.
Our pleasure to have Caleb Chapman on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus Eddie and Mountain America Credit Union. You've got a new book out called The Next Stage, which focuses on relevance, leadership, and trust in the world of artificial intelligence. What's the threat of AI to the music industry, and how do you survive it?
Well, you know, the topic of the book is really something that I think athletes are way ahead of most of the rest of the world on. And it's this concept that performance trumps AI, you know?
Yeah.
Right now, for the first time in history, we're at a stage where we are able to create content faster than we are able to consume it, thanks to AI.
Yeah.
So, you know, think about this, 10, 15, 20 years ago, if, you wanted a piece of, a work of art or fabrication of almost anything, like somebody needed skills and they needed to develop them over a lifetime. Now, whether it's 3D printing or it's composing music or writing an article, you just hit a button and it spits it out. Mm-hmm. So everybody has the power to create content. And when everybody has the power to create content, then the value of content drops to virtually nothing.
Yeah.
And so this whole book is about, again, what I think athletes really have already figured out, that the performance, the ability to perform is the most important thing. To be able to rise in the moment, to be able to adapt in the moment, that emotional maturity and things like that. And our whole education system was not set up for that. It was teaching us facts and figures, and we would memorize dates. Well, of course, now we just pull out our phone and hit the date,
Yeah.
And so when you talk about what's the danger to the music industry, it's that everybody can create music now. And so things like the value of, the difficulty of composing a piece of music or writing a hit song, it's changed very much. But what I think is not going to change is the value. Well, I shouldn't say that it's not going to change. I think it's going to go way up, the value of performance. I think none of us are ever going to want to pay to see an iPhone in concert, and Dave, you and I have been talking music for years, right? And there's just nothing that can replace that experience and of live music, of those performances.
That's where you connect. Like I just explained to you, I was telling you about that Kenny Loggins concert when he went acoustic. Like it touched me, and I still get the same feelings that I had because it was an individual performance that was so off the charts. I was just like, wow, and we made a connection with the artist. There's no way AI can ever replace that, right?
No, I don't think it can. And the proof of that is, we've all experienced it. I mean, we're wearing these great headphones here right now. If we were to pull up a Rolling Stones track or something, listen to it through these headphones, it's going to be sonically pretty perfect. Not going to have wrong notes in there. It's going to be mixed right and all that. And it costs us nothing to pull it up and listen to it on our phones. However, I think all of us would happily plop down a huge chunk of change to see the Rolling Stones in concert, because it is a completely different experience. The music is never going to sound as good live as it does in headphones, but you don't go to a concert because of the perfection of the music. You go because of the experience of the performance.
What is the best concert you've attended, and what did you feel while you were there?
Okay. I mean, those are two different questions. I don't know. Like, I have a similar experience that I think,
Not with Kenny Loggins, though, right?
It's not,
First of all, it was a phenomenal question.
it was.
I loved it.
It was a great question.
But what was it? Because without the connection, it wouldn't be the greatest you were ever at, and that connection is what keeps us going back.
It was the connection. I'm a Beatles fan, as I think a lot of people are. I wouldn't say I'm, overly excited about all things Beatles like some people are fanatics, but I'd never seen, this was like 15 years ago, I still had not seen a Beatle in concert, and the opportunity came up to see Paul McCartney in concert, and I went mainly just so I could check it off the list, and of course, Sir Paul is getting along in years. Yeah. Not the same level of execution and performance as earlier, but same thing happened as what you described. Like about 3/4 of the way through the concert, he dismissed his band from the stage, and he just had his acoustic guitar and he played Blackbird. Oh. And I thought, well, this is cool. I love the song, But he starts playing, and this is not a technically difficult song. And of course, I've been very blessed to hang out with some of the greatest technical musicians of all time. Right. And he's strumming those simple chords, and his voice is cracking, and there's nothing perfect sonically about this performance. And I just locked in, and then before I knew it, I just felt something on my cheek. I was like giant tears just streaming down my face. I've never, ever had anything like that happen to me before. And it wasn't because it was my favorite band or anything, but it was that connection was so powerful. And
isn't it interesting that as you explain in your book and talking tonight, is that you can get a song, you can get a computer to mimic Paul McCartney's voice, and you can create Blackbird or whatever. But what you can't do is what you experienced watching him do it.
Exactly.
And that's the difference between what AI and combating against AI is, right?
Yeah.
It's the human interaction that's still undefeated.
Well, I've got a question for you guys, because, I feel pretty confident that regardless of how able robots, technology, AI gets to create music live, I don't see us wanting to have that experience. Yeah. What do you think about that as it relates to sports? I mean, we can't be that far off before we have robots that could play a game of football or basketball. Are people going to be interested in paying to see that? I'm feeling like probably not, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about that.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Yeah, you could do the incredible robots. Remember they used to have the robot fights? I don't know if you remember that. The people would create robots, and they would go in and they go fight to see who could win. And I remember thinking, man, this is lame. Like, who can create the best robot? Or there's no human interest in this, because when we go to watch a player, it's not just to watch a skill. We watch that, but we watch them because of their personality, and because Michael Jordan's the greatest. He's also bigger than life.
Right.
He's Michael Jordan and the Nike brand and all of those things. So we connect to their personalities. We connect to the personalities on the floor, and I don't know that robots can replace humans in the game with their frailties and all of that. And still,
robots can't cry.
Nope.
Right? They can't cry because they made the game-winning shot.
That they are, but they don't.
Or because they missed the game-winning shot. There's no gut-wrenching. Like, we watch the Super Bowl, and there's going to be an amazing story of somebody. We don't know who it is. That's why we're all going to watch on Sunday.
I'm pretty sure we know it's the Patriots. But
and do you like Sam Darnold? Like, look at Sam Darnold's story.
Yeah.
If he was a robot, they would just thrown him away.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad to hear that you guys feel that.
I think the human element of sport is why the networks are paying everything for live sports and getting rid of all the canned shows, because everyone can binge watch that.
Well, don't you feel like to me, sports is the ultimate reality TV?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, reality TV now is anything but reality.
Yeah, Survivor, we found out, hey, Survivor is actually scripted, but but the game isn't.
Some of our folks here are they're like, Puka Nacua might be a robot with how good he is. just saying. And then John Franklin says, hey guys, robots played football in the Jetsons.
That's true.
Yeah.
I will be honest, if a group of robots went and played robots from BYU robots, played Utah robots, would be cheering for the BYU robots. And would feel good about it.
No, I was like, no.
Would feel good about it if we beat their robots.
Never happening. But
Caleb Chapman, author and founder of Caleb Chapman Sound House, is on the Wise Guys. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com, talking about his new book, The Next Stage. AI is not only a threat to performers, when it comes to spiritual matters, as the church has recently got involved with in explaining it, that AI might give you an explanation, but it can't compete with the Holy Ghost as it touches your heart and your mind. AI informs you, but the Holy Ghost can let you know if something's true or not. And that process is something that needs to be taught, or we get that mixed up. And that's kind of the premise of your book is we need to understand this so we don't mix the two.
Well, yeah. And it's right now we've got access to all this information, but it's just information. And it's our ability to be human, to decipher those spiritual promptings, the emotional promptings, making those adjustments. I think, if we were talking about it in a sports framing, AI is basically unlimited game footage. It's unlimited training. It's all that stuff. But what really counts is in the moment, in the game, being able to interpret it, being able to decipher it. And when you're talking about spiritual things, Dave, only a human mind can be able to have that connection with deity, even, as we're talking about that connection. It's interpersonal. It's with Heavenly Father. It's those are all the things that are the best parts of what makes us human and separates us from a machine.
That's a connection, right? And then you can take that connection right back to rock and roll, because it's the same thing we're talking about. Music's been around since the world was created,
Absolutely.
right? For that very reason of, hey, it makes us feel good when we sing.
Except for I did not connect to Lady Gaga last night on the Grammys. Did not connect.
I didn't watch that.
I don't even know what that was. I hope you guys didn't watch it.
That group's not for me, but music is.
Good.
She was scary. But anyhow, technology is moving into everything. It feels like, and Dave and I were talking about, hey, you could replace the chain gangs in football because you could have electronic markers.
And they started that this year?
Yeah, the umpire, eventually you have an umpire that calls balls and strikes and will never be wrong. So it's creeping into everything, but we have to have, a lot of it's good. We have to have balance. So how do you suggest we pursue these things that are good, but we keep balance? What do we do?
Well, I think one of the tough things, I spend a lot of time talking to musicians about this and artists in general. The book, as we discussed, is really written for everybody that's coming up against this in a wide range of industries, which is, it's hitting all of them right now. The concern is that we have spent years as individuals training to do certain things, and it's difficult to move on from those things and being able to pivot to something else. And so there's a lot of anxiety right now. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of despair. I think that we, as humanity, need to remember that we've been through these changes before. We had an industrial age that transitioned to the information age. And in that transition, a lot of people were feeling exactly the same. The things that they were trained to do, the way they made a living, became obsolete. And we may just need to accept that some jobs that we've held or skills are going to become obsolete. That doesn't mean this is the end of humanity or the end of things progressing. And we can spend a lot of energy and effort feeling sorry for ourselves, feeling panic, feeling like we're going in the wrong direction or we're going to lose these things. But the truth is that this is a great opportunity for us to be able to move things forward. And I really feel like what we're doing right now is moving again into a new age, from the information age into the performance age. Yeah. And that performance age is a time when the skills that are going to be valued are the soft skills, the ability to connect, the ability to communicate, the ability to empathize, the ability to convey emotion, the ability to show up when there's pressure. For AJ to be able to show up and hit 40 points every game, that's tough. That is tough to do. But I feel like those skills can be trained just like anything else. And we really haven't talked about that before. People don't just show up with talent. I mean, I think the whole talent concept is bogus anyways. at least in music, that whole 10,000 hours thing, it's a real thing. The kids that maybe show up with a little bit more natural ability, they're the ones that actually get left behind by the kids that struggle a little bit, and they have to get that work ethic in, and then they end up succeeding. And I think that's what we need to be training right now.
There's a great question here from one of our people in the chat that says, can you ask Caleb if his school has programs for kids who are autistic? Our grandson has an amazing gift for music, but also has struggles. Do you have anything for the folks that have autism?
Our estimate is that a full 30 to 40% of our current musicians at Soundhouse are on the spectrum, and everywhere from mild to we have some severely autistic musicians. Good luck being able to identify them from the audience, because you won't be able to. So
So there you go. Yes.
Here's
the
one.
answer is a resounding yes.
Absolutely.
Here's one from BYU Cougars. Does Caleb feel like the raw music talent of this generation isn't as strong because of technology?
Absolutely not. I think, again, what we're seeing is since there are so many tools available to us with technology, I think it opens up a lot more doors and opportunities for artistic expression. Think about, again, relating it to sports. How much has technology affected the way that athletes train and recover and analyze tape and their health and their nutrition and all that stuff? All those things actually add to the tools that we have available to increase our abilities. And I think music is exactly the same.
So we can increase human performance with technology, and really it's performing arts. It's performance as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And performance across everything. That's what we want. We want people that we can count on when we get in a pinch. That's what performance is about.
Things change, but Stairway to Heaven's still going to be 7 minutes and 39 seconds long. The book is called The Next Stage by Caleb Chapman. You can find it on Amazon. Did you find that your wife, Tommy, treats you with more respect now that you're a published author?
I don't even know if if she knows I have a book.
Didn't work. I had a little book out. It didn't do anything for Diana.
I'm the only one on the show that hasn't written a book.
Do you know what Tommy actually said to me? She said, "You've had time to write 2 books. I think you can find time to get extra date night out each week with you." She is not wrong.
I'm not going to argue.
Got to put the priorities right. So.
All right, 5 questions presented by Strategy Square. In the spirit of live music and live connection that we've been talking about with Caleb, he's going to reveal his top 5 live performing artists / bands of all time. And it's not going to take an hour to do it. And you're not going to apologize to the people that you're going to leave off the list.
All right.
This is your top 5 who you've connected with through live music that you think are the best, at least in your experience. And again, it's going back to connectivity and live, which is the battle and the way to defeat AI and to stay relevant for a performer, correct?
Right.
Number 5, what do you got?
This was tricky. Okay. And I don't have to justify any of this, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Number 5, I'm going to go with Taylor Swift.
I think she's awesome.
We both, like, people look at us like we're crazy. We're like, no, she's crazy gifted. Like, she's a great songwriter.
She's a great songwriter, but
and a great performer.
I think I'm going off of your question, which was I'm going strictly live performance.
Live performance, yeah.
Live performance. And she connects with her audience like
nobody's business.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 4.
Number 4, I'm going to go with U2.
U2.
I haven't seen U2.
U2, I'm going with them. They're, 4 individuals. Their performances feel always just bigger than life, and the emotion that they convey, that Bono especially, it's like a gut punch, Yeah. And pioneering their performance at the Sphere. If you guys haven't gotten down to see a show,
I want to go see the Eagles in the Sphere because
I've seen the Eagles there. I've seen U2, but U2 did it in a way that only U2 could do. Incredible performance.
All right, so they're number 4.
Where technology meets
exactly
musical talent in the Sphere, right?
Yes.
Live.
Yes.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3, Queen / Freddie Mercury.
Oh goodness, I wish I could have seen them live.
Yeah, when Freddie would walk into the room, it was his arrival that was as much a part of the performance as anything else.
Yeah.
The entire arena, venue, whatever. It didn't matter if you liked the music of Queen or you didn't or anything. As soon as he walked in the room, he owned the entire room. It was electric.
Wow.
Okay.
Number two.
Number 2, Prince.
Oh gosh.
Prince was the master of everything. Prince, an incredible songwriter, an incredible performer, and he was so strict and committed to excellence and surrounding himself with the best. And he would have the best musicians alive in his band, and he could still outplay every single one of them on their instruments.
He'd bring studio musicians in that's all they did, and he could play them better.
That's exactly it.
I found out something last night. Bruno Mars is 5'5", and Prince was 5'2".
Yeah.
He was a giant.
He was a point guard at the YMCA.
Exactly. Okay,
well, I can't imagine what number 1 is.
Number 1.
You're going to be, come on.
Michael Jackson.
It's like, I don't know how anybody...
Well, not everyone saw him.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I never saw Michael Jackson.
I never saw Michael Jackson. I would have him. I've never even seen him, but I would tell you he was number 1.
So what was it about Michael Jackson?
Well, Michael Jackson, I mean, he was... to me, he was the Muhammad Ali of music. You had to redefine the way you thought of performances after Michael Jackson. There was nothing before it or since that you could even compare it to. It's its own thing, and there was no wasted movement or motion or music. Like every part of his show was perfectly orchestrated, choreographed, and he just completely owned the audience. Like it was just on every level. All right,
that's good.
Where he was getting ready, that last tour that was going on, we finally had some money in our lives. We were going to go wherever it was, and then of course he passed away. There's a movie coming out, Michael Jackson the movie here, in the next month or 2 that I can't wait to see.
Speaking of Michael Jackson, I just want to put a plug in for the Broadway musical. Tommy and I just went and saw that this past summer.
MJ the musical.
Oh my gosh.
So
one of my definitely top 5 musicals of all time.
So one of my daughter Libby's dear friends, Yo-Yo, who's from here, her family are performing artists. She is currently in MJ the musical in Australia. She just left Broadway. She was in Moulin Rouge on Broadway, and she just left down to go play one of the leads in MJ the musical in Sydney. So pretty cool.
All right, here's a question for you. What band currently is out there that we should be paying attention to? That's got all the, you've got to see these guys if you can. You got
anything? If we're talking like pure show elements and everything, I would think most people are paying attention to it. I said, I put Taylor Swift on my list because I think as far as greatest performers, what she's done is fantastic. She's out there right now, but I would say closest thing like right now that's happening and it keeps going to me is Bruno Mars. And
so good. He's going on tour this summer.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Bruno Mars in person, you got to do it because again, another
5'5".
Yeah, my micro performer,
a giant among men.
Yeah, but he's able to connect with the audience. The musicianship is incredible. He does everything live, and the band is incredible. And it's just high energy. It's the kind of performance that's worth, plopping your money down for.
Okay,
it's good
there
stuff.
you go.
Bruno Mars.
All right, you asked us to have our top 5 ready, Blaine. Let's do it quick.
Okay,
let's go through yours.
I have a tie for 5th. Journey, the Eagles.
How do you have a tie for 5th?
Because there was too many. I couldn't do 5.
1 is 6.
Wait a minute. If I knew I could have done
1
that.
is 6.
So tied for 5th was Journey, the Eagles, and Kenny Loggins.
Could have named 10 bands.
But that's the only tie.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Number 4 was Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
Up in Salt Lake City. Just the performance was ridiculous.
Did you go to the one at Maverick that just happened?
No. I went to the one back in their heyday.
Oh, okay.
Drums came up out of the floor. Philip Bailey comes down on us. Like it was
all right.
crazy.
Stay focused.
Okay. So number 3, Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation tour.
Yep.
I went with Steve Young and Lee Johnson. And Lee and I went with their wives. Steve went with a girl. I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't Barb. But anyhow, Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation. Amazing performance.
Yeah.
Closest thing to Michael without being Michael. Then my number 2 is a double concert with Styx in Kansas.
Okay.
Back in the day. This was back in the 80s.
All right.
So it was pretty awesome. Just the musical talent of these guys was amazing. Then my favorite ever, and I've done it more than once, Billy Joel in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good.
Billy Joel. I'm
can
from
agree
New
with that.
York. Billy Joel was the guy. He was a New York guy. When you hear Billy Joel in Madison Square Garden, I'm not sure there's anything better than that.
Okay, I'm going number 5, Celine Dion in Vegas.
Phenomenal.
Number 4, Elton John at the Marriott Center. Number 3, AC/DC at the Thomas and Mack Center, just for all the reasons. Number 2,
Multiple times. By the way.
Journey and Bryan Adams in 1984 at the Marriott Center.
okay,
Frontiers
Wait,
Tour.
that's the concert I'm talking about. Yep.
And number 1 all time for live performer who connects with his audience that makes you want to come back every time is Keith Urban.
Keith Urban.
He's
a
taking
great
me to
one.
Keith Urban in Vegas, and,
Yeah.
and his friend writes for Keith. And so we had some good seats. And
Yeah,
He's
we've
just
got
every time.
We got the
so
same
much-
friend.
So much better. He's so much better as a guitarist than I ever imagined.
And he leaves you wanting more. He gives you everything you got, and you'll come right back the next time. So that's awesome. We endorse your book, of course, The Next Stage, because live music we just love. There's nothing better than a good band. For hanging out. When we were in Cabo hanging out, the house band.
We went to the
they were
house
so
band,
good, we just sat
and
there.
Cabo Wabo was off the charts. They were so good. And sometimes Sammy just comes and sits.
Yeah.
in.
And we're just like, it's a good band, it's a good time.
We have to answer this question because BYU Cougars 1984 says, hey, Michael Jackson has to be number 1. We know, but he goes, and I know what the answer is going to be. He says, am I on an island that Weird Al Yankovic was in my top 5? Yes, you are. You were on such
You're
an
on a
island.
fantasy
with that one.
island.
Yes, you're on some kind of a crazy island.
All right, bonus question: Seahawks, Patriots. I think you already answered it.
I'm from Boston, guys.
You're going
Patriots,
Patriots on that. Caleb with us, founder of the Caleb Chapman Soundhouse, author of the new book, The Next Stage, available on Amazon. Thank you so much for gracing
Hey, guys,
us
thanks.
tonight.
Thanks for letting me hang
We love
out.
having you on,
You
and we
bet.
love what you're doing, and you're doing things that make a difference in the world with these kids.
Well, I feel so grateful, like you guys, to get up and have a job I love and do something that impacts lives, and this does. What this training that we give these kids, the confidence they have, it sets them up to go be successful in absolutely any field they choose. It's pretty awesome.
Great stuff. All right, on your way home, get Tommy's favorite ice cream, and Toto the Wise Guys wish her a happy Monday.
Yes.
You got it.
And more date night time that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
All right, that's Caleb
Thanks,
Chapman,
Caleb.
Thanks, guys.
and he has a standing invitation for this show anytime, so he doesn't have to write a book to come on the show. But as soon as that book came out, we're like, of course
gotta
we
have
need
you
you
on.
on the show. So best of luck, and buy it on Amazon. The Next Stage. We're all in this thing, and
Yep.
AI is going to affect all of us. So how does it affect live music? Remember when the Walkman came out, that was going to kill radio?
Yeah.
And then when we could have music on our phone, that was going to kill radio. And there's a radio station on every little digital dial and thing. It didn't kill radio. It just changed it a little bit.
Yep.
And now we have radio, and we have that stuff, and it's all good. AI is not going anywhere, but it can. It's certainly not going to replace our favorite bands.
No, that's
Not
for
on
sure.
stage. That's
because
the
the
magic of
connection
it.
is what it's all about when you go to live concerts. So
All right,
thanks,
good to have Caleb with us. Let's jump back into our campus notes and get to women's hoops. There's a lot going on. We're going to get to it as fast as we can. But on this show, when we're done with this show, you know exactly what's going on.
You know what's going on.
At BYU. And women's hoops now 16-6, 5-5 in the Big 12. The Big 12 standings have TCU and Baylor at number 1 at 8-2, then Texas Tech and West Virginia at number 3 at 8-3. BYU sitting at 9 at 5-5. Their net ranking is 47. And Lee Kamard told us that anybody in the top 15 in the net has a really good shot at getting to the big dance.
Top 50, you mean?
Yeah, top 50 in the
yeah,
net.
yeah.
And you know what? Considering where they were, that'd be awesome.
And here's the thing. You remember Delaney was out for a big part of the first part of the year, and they won a bunch of games. She's come back, and they're making some adjustments, and feels like it's coming together right at the right time, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that was a big win against Utah.
Big win.
77-65 in Provo. Brinley Cannon, as mentioned, she's our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. 21 points, 6 of 9 from 3. Olivia Hamlin, freshman, had 16. Delaney struggled shooting, 3 of 14 with 8 points. So what does a first-team Big 12 performer do? She went and got 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 assists.
She was
4 steals.
closing in on a. She was like, she
Almost
said,
had a double-double
Well, she
without
said
the
to me
points.
after the game, I looked up one time and I thought, am I going to get a double-double without points? How does that happen?
Maybe a triple-double.
So-
8, 8, and 7. That's pretty close.
Yep. So BYU's first win against Utah at home, as we mentioned, since Delaney Gibb was 11 years old.
That's a long time.
2017 is crazy. You wrote a nice piece on Delaney Gibb this week in the
You know, and
Desert
she's
News.
a great story.
Yeah.
And we wish her the best. And part of the reason that BYU won, they had 11 turnovers. That's it. for a team that's been nailed by turnovers all season. Delaney and the Cougs just 11 on Saturday. They're 16-2 when they hold a team under 70. They held the Utes to 65. They're 14-2 when they outscore their opponents in the third. They're down 10 at half, outscored the Utes in the third. Still were trailing going into the fourth, but that third quarter is like this magical 10 minutes.
It really is.
I'm not quite sure what it is, like voodoo or something, but it gets them going.
It gets them going. So, well, up next for BYU. Oh, and we Oklahoma State beat BYU. We don't talk about that. Right?
We're just going to move on.
So BYU at Kansas Wednesday at 5:30. That's on ESPN Plus and BYU Radio, and BYU at Kansas State Saturday at 3. So they're on the road this whole week.
Before we get to men's volleyball, I want to tell you Wise Guys proudly supported by Quick Quack Car Wash. And if you notice all the new locations popping up across Utah and the West, it's no accident. They're growing fast. They're growing with purpose. And one of the coolest things they do is their fundraising program where local schools, teams, and nonprofits can raise some serious money by partnering with their grand openings.
Mm-hmm. And we see them all over. Every place I'm driving, I'm like, wait, there's a brand new one. There's a brand new one. And that's why we love the partnership we have with them. They support BYU athletics. They support the local communities. They're opening new locations all over the Western United States all year long. So next time you need a car wash, choose the one that's giving back. Quick Quack Car Wash, fast, clean, and community focused. And we're going to tell you more about upcoming grant openings and fundraiser opportunities right here on Wise Guys. As they have these openings, we're going to make you aware of where those are and fundraising opportunities.
When you see all the Quick Quacks, we want you to think of Wise Guys.
That's right.
Yeah. When you see Re-Lyte,
we want you to think of Wise Guys.
We want you to think of the Wise Guys. When you see Eddie, Brady Plus, and Mountain America, we want you to think about the Wise Guys.
Absolutely.
We appreciate their support. Men's volleyball, they're now 6-2, still ranked number 8. They beat number 15, UC Santa Barbara, 3-0 on both Thursday and Friday nights. Now they're going east. They're at Lincoln Memorial Friday in Cambridge, Massachusetts, at Harvard Saturday, and then they'll finish up the road swing at Merrimack in North Andover, Massachusetts on Monday. So they went from the West Coast as far away as you can go to the East Coast.
And we were talking to Sean.
They're playing great.
They're going to see some cool things back there, some of the history and all that. It's fun to take a team back to that Boston area. They haven't been back there for a little bit, so we wish them luck on the road. Gymnastics is 4-3, 1-1 in league. National ranking of number 23. They defeated Arizona 196.3 to 195.25.
Nice job.
Yeah. Up next, BYU's at Southern Utah Friday at 6:30. That'll be on ESPN Plus.
Track and field, the women's team, the indoor team is ranked number 5 in the country. The men are number 12. Every running program at BYU is just outstanding. Jane Hedegren finished 3rd in the 3,000 meter at the 2026 Millrose Games in New York. Her time of 8:34.98 is the fastest in BYU history. It is the second fastest in NCAA history. And at the John Thomas Terrier Classic, back in Boston, Carter Cutting set the school record in the mile at 3:54.38. Every time a BYU running team does something, some record's going down.
It just feels like they're breaking a record. Unbelievable. How about all academic athletes? Jane Hedegren, Riley Chamberlain, Zeriel, is it Machaya?
I think so.
Yeah. Taylor Rahatinsky, Lexi Goff Thompson, Max Davis, Noah Jenkins, Tavion Kitchen, and Davin Thompson, all academic athletes. So there you go.
Up next, the women are at the Roman Ruiz Speed and Power Invitational in Logan on Saturday. Then a mix of men and women at the Don Kirby Invitational in Albuquerque on the 13th and 14th. And then another mix at the Davin Henry Valentine Invitational in Boston on February 13th and 14th. It's interesting how they can just divide up.
Yeah.
Because they're all collecting times.
Right.
You get the right times, you get to go compete in the Big 12 championships and the NCAAs, and those are just around the corner.
Qualifying times for all those kinds of things. So they're splitting the team up a little bit that weekend. So men's golf, national ranking of 30th. The Arizona NIT, they were at the Arizona NIT. BYU finished tied for 4th place, but freshman Kihei Aquino was the best Cougar, who finished tied for 5th at -9. Up next, the John A. Burns Intercollegiate. That's February 12th through the 14th. You and I volunteered to cover this like we do every year in Lahui, Hawaii.
Yeah, we did volunteer.
And nobody took
down.
us up on it. We're going to be right here in Utah.
And we're going to keep volunteering, too.
Everything
It's
in
not
Hawaii.
going to be because of a
I'm
lack of volunteering.
Hey, if you need Dave and me. And everybody just looks at me like, no, you're not going to Hawaii.
Women's golf, the Cougars took 5th place in the 12-team field at the Collegiate Invitational in Guadalajara, Mexico. We offered to go to that one as well.
I said we would go. No.
Maria Jose Barragan finished tied for 10th. Up next is the Thunderbird Intercollegiate, February 9th and 10th in Tucson. We did not offer to go to Tucson.
I said I don't want to go to Tucson.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're probably going to send us
We
there.
have stuff to do.
So, softball. We just had Gordon Eakin on just a couple weeks ago. They're picked 6th in the Big 12 preseason poll. Texas Tech is number 1. Elavea Brittingham and Lily Owens were named to the Big 12 all preseason team. Season opener, BYU against Tennessee, Thursday, 5 p.m., Clearwater, Florida. You know what?
They flew there today.
And we volunteered for that one.
Yeah. Although, with that cold storm that just went through there,
maybe not.
We weren't as excited about it.
But you know what? We could get to Miami, and it didn't make it that far south.
No, their season opener is Thursday. That's how close we are to spring.
Yeah, that's
without
right.
having winter.
BYU Michigan State at 3, BYU versus Notre Dame at 6 on Friday, and then Saturday BYU versus Penn State at 1, and BYU versus Missouri at 4. So a bunch of doubleheaders.
They're playing everybody, every P4 in the country, it feels like. Swim and dive, Utah's at BYU Friday at 5 over in the pool.
Have you ever been to a swim meet at BYU?
No.
We should do that. We need to go.
It's
support
probably
them.
pretty cool.
Yeah, we need to go. We need to go check that out. Men's tennis is 3-0, and playing really, really well.
They got Montana State Thursday, 5:30 in Provo, and women's tennis is 5-1. Arkansas State will play BYU Friday in Memphis, and then BYU play Memphis while they're back there in Memphis. So the Cougars are 5-1 there. And baseball, as mentioned, BYU Western Kentucky on Friday, February 13th. That's a week from Friday. Campus notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. Find out how education can change your life at byupathway.edu. There's a lot of stuff. How is all that going on February 2nd?
Crazy how much stuff. So
on this day, on February 2nd, by the way, let's head down the home stretch.
Let's do this.
This is one of our favorite parts of the program because whether or not you've enjoyed it up to this point, this part is always enjoyable because it's the world we live in.
That's right. And sometimes, stuff that happened, we forget that it happened.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, in 1848, on February 2nd, you know what happened? The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ends the Mexican-American War. Mexico loses 55% of its territory to the U.S., including Utah, Nevada, and California, in exchange for $15 million.
$15 million. It spent like $1 billion to build the Bellagio, but we got all that for $15 million.
So I'm glad we got Utah.
I think
and
Mexico
Nevada.
remembers that.
California, we could sell them back to Mexico right now.
On this day in 1870, except for Disneyland and the beach.
Oh yeah, I forget.
We'll keep those.
Yeah, I'll take.
We'll sell the
I'll
Dodgers
keep
for
all
a
of
second.
The beaches. No, I'm going to keep all the beaches, and I want Santa Barbara. Can we just selectively?
Yeah, selected.
Actually, I still want San Diego.
Dodgers are in the deal to go. And they can take the Giants with them.
Yes, they can.
1876, baseball creates, speaking of baseball, the National League with teams from Chicago, New York, Boston, Cincinnati, Hartford, Louisville, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. The National League was created on this day in 1876.
How about in 1887, the first Groundhog Day is observed at Gobbler's Knob in Puxatawney, Pennsylvania. Puxatawney Phil. The famous, every year it's new Puxatawney Phil, but the famous groundhog that if he comes out and sees his shadow and goes back underground, we're in for more winter. But if he comes out and stays out and doesn't see a shadow, then we're going to have a nice early spring.
Yeah.
I'm afraid he's going to see a shadow and we're going to get some snow in May, June.
Well, we're going to tell you in just a second. On this day today.
What happened?
Okay. On this day in 1959, Green Bay Packers hire Vince Lombardi as their head football coach. Good idea.
I think it was a very good idea.
Good job, Packers.
In 1964, the G.I. Joe toy action figure debuts. I had G.I. Joes.
Changed the world. Yeah. We all did. Yeah, out in the garden. 1970, Pete Maravich becomes the first college player to score 3,000 points for LSU.
Amazing. In 2014, the Seahawks win the Super Bowl on this day, 42-8 against the Broncos.
So the Seahawks are right back in the game.
Wow.
This weekend. On this day in 2020, Andy Reid and the Chiefs beat the 49ers 31-20 to win Kansas City's first championship in 50 years.
Yeah, this just in. Andy Reid did a really nice job with the Chiefs so far.
Yeah, he's been great. Even this year.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Everyone's hurt and all that stuff.
Okay, on this day today in 2026, the groundhog saw his shadow, forecasting 6 more weeks of winter. I'm telling you, he came out and he turned around and went back in so fast. We're probably going to have 12 more weeks of winter.
Listen, what it meant for Utah is we're going to have 6 more weeks of 55 and sunny.
No.
The way it's
I'm
going.
I'm telling you, it's going to snow in June this year.
I know. Hope it doesn't snow.
Mark my words.
Games.
So.
February 2nd, birthdays, 1985, George Halas, long-term Bears owner. That's got to be 1945.
Yeah, 45.
George Halas, longtime Bears owner, born on this day in 1945.
You know what? He might have been born in 35.
Could have been. I wrote 8.
My dad was born in 35. I'm saying 35.
Let's go with 35.
Yeah. So, and my dad turns 92 next month, or this month.
Is that right?
Yeah, 92 this
92.
month. So, no, 91 this month.
We're all
91
pretty much sure
91
what this next one.
Yeah. February 2nd, 1947, Farrah Fawcett was born on this day.
Our poster came out 18 years later.
Was it 18 years?
Probably.
No, it came out like, I don't know when it came out. When we were kids.
When she was 18. Or maybe.
No, she was in her 20s when that came out.
That was 1977, Shakira was born on this day.
Shakira, for how old she is, I'm not saying she's old, but she still can dance and perform. She is still really talented. Yeah. February 2nd, deaths. 1996, one of my favorite of all times, Gene Kelly, the actor, Singing in the Rain was incredible. He could act, he could dance, he could sing. When you had to be a triple threat in his day in film, Gene Kelly was getting it done. He passed away on this day in 1996.
On this day in 2022, Bill Fitch, Celtics coach, 1981 NBA title. That was the year, I believe, before Ainge got there. Yeah. And then it was on to other coaches when Ainge won his rings. Bill Fitch died on this day in 2020. Our Wise Guys inspirational quote of the week is from Vince Lombardi, who, as we mentioned, was hired by the Packers today in 1959.
Yeah, he said, "I firmly believe that any man's finest hour, the greatest fulfillment of all that he holds dear, is that moment when he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies exhausted on the field of battle, victorious."
That's what you bought. That's what you got when you paid for Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, they got Vince Lombardi, and we got all kinds of quotes from him.
Nice
and
job.
Lots of championships.
Thanks to baseball coach Trent Pratt for BYU. We wish the Cougars the best of luck. Their season opener a week from Friday at Western Kentucky and Bowling Green. Hope that warms up there in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It looks like it will in the forecast. And author and music extraordinaire Caleb Chapman graced us with his presence on the show.
Awesome to have Caleb in the house and Trent in the house. Next week, we're going to have Jimmer in the house. Well, he's going to come from Colorado probably, right? Or is he going to be here?
He'll be via technology. Because he won't be here yet.
But it won't be Jimmer like AI. It'll be the real Jimmer.
Yeah. Trust us.
The real Jimmer is coming on ahead of his jersey retirement ceremony.
That'll be cool.
And A.B. Robinson, BYU Pathway when these big BYU Pathway graduates come on, I have to stay a little stoic because they hit me emotionally.
That's awesome.
Their stories are great.
And remember, 3 years ago we had Jimmer on, and we were talking about someday your jersey would be retired, and we said, what would that feel like? And he gave us some good answers and stuff.
Yeah.
And now we are to that day.
Yeah.
And so it'll be fun to talk to Jimmer.
So this week, where can you find us? I'll be on the pregame show Saturday night. The pre and the post for that game. Pregame starts at 7:30 p.m. The game tips at 8:30 Mountain Time. Dave, you're hosting the rest of the week, right?
I'll be on Sports Nation tomorrow through Friday.
Yeah.
So let me apologize in advance, but you're going to see a lot of me on Sports Nation.
You're getting a lot of exposure this week.
And then I'll be in the Deseret News, too, with a couple articles. Check that out there. We will remind you, Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, Supplies Plus Support. Find out more at bradyplus.com.
By Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com.
And by Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. See how Eddie can serve your team at Eddie.com.
Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. And the Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week, Brinley Cannon.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good job,
Beating the
Brinley.
Utes. Way to go, Brinley.
Enjoy the Super Bowl with your family. That's what makes sports great. It's not necessarily the game we're watching, but it's who we're watching it with.
The Super Bowl is all about the experience.
And I went and got I'm in charge of the Super Bowl prize at the family thing.
And?
Yeah, it's next level this year.
You can't tell what it is, though, right?
I can't reveal it, but just know that you'd want to win it.
I always go off my diet for Super Bowl because I go on a diet about this time of year after I gained 15 pounds each winter doing football and basketball. And then I go on a diet and then I go off it for the Super Bowl. So
I'm looking forward to my brother-in-law Kenny's 7-layer dip. and my brother-in-law Greg's wings. I can tell you that much.
I'm gonna have to come up and check those out.
You know where we'll be. You have a standing invitation.
Have a great week and a great weekend, and enjoy all the games, everybody.
See you next week on the Wise Guys. Thanks.